What's up, Angry Ginger Army? What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday. It is hump day. We are halfway through the week and so much closer to my vacation. 6 working days. 6 working days until vacation. I can't wait. I'm so ready. I need a vacation, guys. I need a vacation. All right. How's everybody doing today? Let's see who all's here. Let's check on the chat. What's up, chat? Nina is. I think Nina has the longest streak now. Nina, I think you're on like 3. That's a 3. She's on a 3-peat. That's Chicago Bulls territory. Okay. He hurts. What's up? Silent Siren. What's going on? Rosanna. Kay. What's going on? Mama. What's up, Mama? Pagan Ways. What's up? Tammy. What's going on? Mitchell, what's up? Swift, Canada. Canada's in the house. Always appreciate when Canada is in the house. Woke Mike, what's up, Woke Mike? Let's see. Mama Brooke, what's going on, Mama Brooke? Rusty Nails, what's going on, Rusty Nails? Trump isn't real. He's a Russian robot cyborg clone sent here to destroy us. Gonna say the same thing I think I said about Biden being a clone. If these are the best clones that technology can put out there, there's a lot to be desired. But to Rusty's point, I mean, if his main objective is burning down American society as a whole, clone doing a pretty good job at this point. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Silent Siren closing on your first house in a couple weeks. That's big. That's big. Congrats, my friend. Congrats on your first house. That's amazing. Progressively. What's going on, Progressively? Randy. What's up, Randy? Let's see. Elon's tweets are performative. He's got what he wanted for his $250 million, and so did Taco Man. I agree with that, Rusty. I agree with that. But we're going to get to what I was right about and what I was wrong about, I think, today. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's see. Who else is in there? Fildo! What's up, Fildo? What's up, Nathan? What's up, Skinny Raccoon? I like that name. That's a good name, but also it talks a lot about the American economy right now as well. Even the raccoons are starving. Liz, did I say hi, Liz? Hi, Liz. Let's see who else. They haven't figured out how to keep the cyborg skin from falling off. Gotta replace the skin. What's up, Alan? What's up, Roxanne? What is going on, guys? All right. Christina. What's up, Christina? Hi. All right. So, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what I've gotten right so far and what I've gotten wrong so far. And I do feel so far that pretty spot on with the tech billionaires and why they were dumping money into Donald Trump's pockets as we watch the big, beautiful bill get passed through the House into the Senate with the obvious the caveat that Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, if she could read, would have known about, and that is the stipulation that no state will be allowed to regulate or interfere with AI over the next 10 years. I told you guys. Look, at this point, the other day we had the MAGA health report come out, and I read some of the things about that. And having been a person that, when ChatGPT first came out and was like available to the public, what was that? Like, it was right after COVID, right? Like 3 or 4 years ago. When it first came out, I'd mess around with it and ask it questions, have it do dumb stuff. You know, that's how everything starts. And I'd, prompt it to do things. And I recognized some of the issues with AI almost like right away, right? I saw that the way that it works is that you have to really put a lot into fact checking AI. In fact, you have to put a lot into getting it to fact check itself. And when that report came out and they had all these fake studies in it, all these authors that supposedly were the authors of these studies denied those studies, when people went and looked and tried to find these studies and they didn't exist, and then there were the links that were in the studies that led to nothing. Immediately, I was like, that's generated by AI. That is 100% generated by AI. And one of the things about messing around with the AI is that I've come to really like recognize like articles written on the internet. Like, so if I see an article that is written for, you know, something recent that happened, a current event, almost right away I can tell if it's been written by a human being or if it's been written by AI. It just has like a certain cadence to it, has a certain like way that it outlines everything. Like, it's too well done. It doesn't have the humanness to it. And so I'm looking at that when I watched or when I looked at this supposed health report, I knew almost immediately that they had used AI to generate that report. And here's something, going back to something that my boss had said when I was talking to him about something. I was complaining about some of the things. And I was saying, you know, some of these people that are trying to get in touch with the White House, trying to, you know, they're putting forth petitions to have the White House hear some of these things that these people are saying. And he said, well, no, that's going to do any good because they fired all those people. And we all know that Elon Musk was using an algorithm to attempt to cut the federal workforce. We all know that this AI was being used to find terms in the government that it in some way linked to DEI. This is how the Nola Gay picture got taken down. This is how anything that said trans intercontinental or transnational got taken down. My bet right now, speaking of where I think I'm right, my bet is that this government has chosen to fire its human workforce, and it is now using AI to do things that they think it's good to do. They think that that AI can take all of this needless fluff from the government and do the job. Now, as is often the case with any like entrepreneur or any kind of like tech startup, almost always they push forth the product well before it's ready to go. And then, you know, it's like beta testing. You're generally trying to find the bugs and stuff within it. And the way that you do that is by giving it to people to try. And then those people point out the inaccuracies or the bugs. And then the product gets better and better and better as it goes, right? An early access. So obviously this is really bad to be using in a government. It's really bad to be using even in like a corporation without like fully understanding it, right? So I want to point out, first of all, I told you so. I said that they would start doing these things. I said this is why the billionaires wanted to be in Donald Trump's pocket. I said this is why they flipped on Biden and the Democratic Party and went over to Trump. You see obvious things like Zuckerberg being a part of Donald Trump's campaign and donating at the inauguration event, whilst fighting a lawsuit from the government that says that he stole or used materials that he did not pay for to train his AI. I think that at this point, I feel pretty validated that I was correct, that is exactly why these tech people wanted in. Now, when we go back to what I was saying about the regulation with AI as well, that is, and we have a video queued up for this, that is the Freedom City idea. That is the idea of the forever cities, that these are going to be fiefdoms that these tech billionaires get to control, that they get to keep from being regulated. And we're seeing that with the Elon Musk city in Boca Chica. That's now beginning to roll now that he has taken control of that city through a vote, which was heavily favored by people that worked for Starbase. So these things are moving right along the path that I have been talking about since before the election. And even though it's validating to know that I believe I was right about these things, it's also really scary because in some ways you hope to not be right. In some ways you hope that people are going to, rail against this, push back against this, and put guardrails on AI. Because AI can be helpful. It can do some really important things in society. But without guardrails, without 10 years of regulations and interference from the government to keep it from going off the rails, it can be very, very scary. So first I wanted to say that. Skinny Raccoon! Thank you for joining thank you for joining to the Welcome to Ginger Snaps. Now I'm Ron Burgundying it up here. Thank you for joining the Ginger Snaps. It's always hard when I get off work and I come on here. I can't talk. I've been talking all day. Bucket, what's up, Bucket? Bucket, you said you were going to be making it. You made it, Bucket. Pinkerbell, what's going on, Pinkerbell? Let's see who else has popped in here. Dan, what's up, Dan? What's going on? Let's see. So, like I said, I am 100% that this is what's happening. I've said from the very beginning not to let conservatives gaslight you into this being a conspiracy theory. And maybe even they're not gaslighting. Maybe they actually believe that Donald Trump was going to do the things that they thought he was going to do. There's no manufacturing coming back here. The jobs report came out today. 33,000 jobs in the private sector to a projected 115,000. That's an almost 80,000 difference. The reports from the budget committee came out with over $2 trillion added to the deficit from Trump's bill, a shrinking economy added from Trump's bill, rising inflation added from Trump's bill, unemployment numbers increasing from Trump's bill. This was the plan. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's never been a conspiracy theory. They've written books about this. They've given talks about this. They've had interviews about this. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is what these people want for America. So, first of all, I wanted to go there. Okay. If my brain has technical difficulties, do we still get to drink? Yes, drink. Drink right now, actually. Drink! Oh. Trump just announced a travel ban to 12 countries. Does not surprise me. I'm not drinking out of a Christmas cup today, guys. Look at that. It's not Christmas all the time, okay? Oh, Skinny Raccoon. Okay, I'm going to not say that out loud, but it is good to see you, my friend. It is good to see you, and you probably need to perhaps friend me on a Discord and send me a private message to let me know what's going on, buddy. I just need to know that everything's good. I was worried about you, my friend. I was very worried about you for like a myriad amount of reasons. Believe me, I'm a very imaginative, creative person, okay? The scenarios that I thought up, okay, Skinny, send me a message. Let me know everything's okay, all right? I'm glad to see you. I'm happy you're back in the chat, and I'm happy to see you. And also, welcome back to the Angry Ginger Army. And it's always time for a drink. Don't just drink coffee, guys. Drink water, too, okay? Okay. Stay hydrated, guys. Very important. Very important. I also did something to my camera. It's all zoomed in now. It's where we're at, guys. It's where we're at. Almost at 400 subscribers, guys, on the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel. So if you haven't gone over and subbed to the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel, please do. We're almost at 400 subscribers. It took me probably 6 months to get 17 subscribers on this channel when I started. We were at almost 400 subscribers on the alternative channel in like a month and a half. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. And I just want to say a couple things about being on here too, is that I know I'm not streaming every day or streaming, the majority of the days like I was trying to do, but I have to say that that's been like a good thing because I do come to these shows with more energy, and it's allowed me to work on my book. So I'm almost 4 chapters through. Just wrote a chapter about my Elon Musk type character who is implanting neural links in people's brains to use AI to siphon off the emotions of people to help it become self-aware. I just finished the majority of that chapter. A funny conversation between the Trump-like president known as Rex Monroe with Elon Musk while he's high as fuck on futuristic drugs. So I've gotten to really work on the book trilogy that I came up with. The conspiracy illness book is a little bit on the back burner while I write these ones, because this to me, I feel like dystopian fiction is written during dystopian times. And I felt like it was important to pivot from the conspiracy illness book to these books because I think it's the appropriate time. I also feel like there is a shelf life to my ability to write this book during this time, depending on how long this country lasts. So I thought that like I could do something good. I've struggled at times with being on here and figuring out who I am and what I'm doing. Live streams are fun. I like building the community. I love being around you guys. But if it doesn't feel like I'm doing something that has purpose, that I'm actually like having like a positive impact on society with what I'm doing, then sometimes it's a struggle for me. So writing this book, I've always enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed science fiction and fantasy, as you guys have well known from all my books. And there's a place in my heart for books like Fahrenheit 451 and Project 1984. We might be in Project 1984. 1984, Brave New World, Handmaid's Tale. These books have always like really been influential in our society and speaking to where humanity doesn't want to go. And I think I found purpose in writing what I am proposing to be a trilogy of books about what could happen to this society if we continue down this path, and what can happen if we don't find a way to regulate and put boundaries on AI. So I really feel like this is something that if I can follow through with this and do a good job for it, that it's something that isn't just live streaming. It isn't just making videos that have maybe a week worth of shelf life before they get archived away and no one ever looks at them again. I think that it's something that I can do for America, as weird as that sounds, and possibly the world, that can have a lasting difference or at the least be entertaining. So I just wanted to let you guys know that the time that I'm using off stream, I'm still using in a way to be productive. And as much as I like being on here and streaming with you guys and talking to you guys, I also want to make sure that I have a purpose in what I'm doing. So thank you guys for always being here, and thank you guys for always supporting me. So I do 100% appreciate all of you guys. So let's jump down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the videos that we're gonna do today. And let's get this show rolling instead of me just sitting up here and talking. All right, let's see. First of all, I hadn't looked at any of the Malcolm Nance videos and the 21st Century Suffragettes. Shout out 21st Century Suffragettes. They turned me on to Malcolm Nance, and I hadn't had a real ability to watch many videos on Malcolm Nance, so I have a video queued up for him talking about Ukraine's recent bombing of the Russian drones. As you know, I've looked into it a little bit, but I'd like to hear a guy that knows a lot about it. I'd like to hear him talk about it, as that's what this show's about. Is we know we're not an expert on everything, so we like to hear people talk about things that they know something about. So that's what we're gonna do. Fuck it. Kay says we support you. Thank you, Kay. First of all, okay. And then Bucket says I can only support 80 pounds at this for about 10 minutes. Bucket, bad news. I'm pushing heavy days for me, 185 nowadays. So I'm gonna need you to bring those numbers up, okay? I'm gonna need you to bring those numbers up because
white males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
185 ish. If I start pushing 200, guys, I've eaten too many cheeseburgers. All right, I like to stay somewhere in the 175 realm. Nowadays, after lifting for a while, pushing 185, never going to have a six-pack. Going to be more like a keg. But we still lift heavy, so we're happy with that. So we've got Malcolm Nance here. And then we also have an Onion video. J.D. Vance rushed to Walter Reed after inner hillbilly returns. We're going to get to that one. That's only a 2.5-minute video, guys. We're going to be watching that one. That's going to happen. We got Jasmine Crockett talking about something that I've said and something that I said I might be wrong about. And we're going to talk about that once we get to it. But I said Elon Musk, this is all a show to kind of say that he's left the government, but I don't think he has. So this is a video that's going to support my argument. But then also, we're going to talk about Elon Musk's recent criticism of Trump's big-ass, ugly fucking bill. Okay? And we're going to talk about whether or not, this is going to be the counter argument, whether or not Donald Trump and Elon Musk are actually having a falling out bro to bro during Pride Month.
I love Tesla.
We'll find out if he still loves Tesla, okay? Then, the video we're probably going to start off with today, probably going to be Pissed Off Bartender. Another guy, looks like he might be related to me, except for all the hair on top of his head. That might be an issue. But me and him look like we might be related. Let's talk about Pride. We're gonna watch that video. If we get to these other videos, we're gonna get to the IHIP ladies talking about MAGA Mike getting ghosted by Elon and having to cover for a missing in action Trump, who's only seen all of 14 intelligence briefs so far this year. I mean, he said it. He said he wasn't gonna look at intelligence briefs, and like I said before, sometimes people say he's just trolling. He's just bullshitting. He's just fucking with the libs. No, I don't think he is. I think he 100% is not going to look at intelligence briefs. I think he's not interested. This is the video I wanted to show you guys about California Forever. That was something that was kind of put a stop to by the landowners in East Solano County. But did, in fact, they did make a land grab to try to push people out to create one of these freedom cities that I'm talking about. When I talk about I don't know what they call them, but there is a video of Donald Trump talking about freedom cities. Maybe we'll bring that up as well. If we have time, we're going to get to this Jasmine Crockett interview from CBS Texas that Swift had linked to me that talks about the reverse Robin Hood of stealing from the poor and giving to the rich, which is the big-ass ugly bill's actual main theme. That's what it's doing. So, yeah. So that's where we're at. My whale's way up. Tinkerbell. Let me tell you, my brain has always been a soundboard. You know what I miss? You said that to your boyfriend who's white? Oh, that's amazing, Tinkerbell. That is amazing. You know what I kind of miss? And this is old man Ginger talking, guys. I'm sorry. Old man Ginger is going to talk for a second. But back in my day, movies were quotable. All right? And I remember watching this interview between this guy who was he's a film guy. And he was saying that all the green screen stuff and all the AI had kind of taken away from the magic of movie making and kind of gotten away from what made movies good and told stories and stuff. And in talking to somebody about this, I kind of realized, I think that's rose-colored glasses. I think that a lot of us are old man gingers, and we like to think about the good old days, and we like to think that, when we were kids, there was blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster, and there was never a time where there wasn't a good movie being played in theaters. I don't believe that that's true. I believe that most likely that's just me being an old man and wanting to believe that that's what it was. But the one thing, the hill I will die on, guys, the hill I will die on is that the movies were more quotable. They just seem to be more quotable. And when you say your mind is a soundboard, Tinkerbell, that's immediately what I think of, is the years and years of being in the work environment and yelling half-baked quotes at each other. Idiocracy quotes at each other. Dave Chappelle quotes at each other. That was, we didn't have the internet. Well, we had the internet. We didn't have memes. We didn't have meme culture. Okay, all we had was yelling funny lines at each other while we worked. In fact, I would do it so often that one of the people I worked at this cafe, in this kitchen, accused me of not having my own sense of humor. He's like, you can't just quote movies all the time, bro. And it turns out he was right. Turns out he was right. But at the time, he's being kind of a fucking hater. All right, guys? Being kind of a fucking hater. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's watch some videos. We're going to start Eddie Murphy quotes. Thank you. Alan, thank you. Thank you. Proto memes. Yes. All right. So let's start off today because it is Pride Month. And also, let me just say this to all my LGBT community. You know, I'm there for you. You know that if there is a problem, we're going to handle it. My daughter once showed me a meme that said, if you fuck with my trans homies, I'm about to identify as a motherfucking problem. And that's where I'm at. So, happy Pride Month. Happy LGBTs. I'm there for you no matter what no matter what Tramp does. He can remove all the words. He can remove all the terms. Out here in real life, where people talk to each other and actually like still say things, there is still diversity. There are still LGBT people. There are still trans people. There are still gay people. And they ain't ever going the fuck away. So fucking learn to live with that shit. Because you think that just by putting forth an executive order that shit goes away. Well, you're stupider than I think. Or thought. So, word up. Happy Pride to all that celebrate. And let's watch the pissed off bartender talk about Pride Month. Nope, that's not gonna work.
Well, hello there, friends. How y'all feeling on this fine Monday afternoon? We finna take us a little walk and talk, and seeing as how you read the title, I feel like y'all already know today's topic. Pride. People, we're gonna talk about pride. But more importantly, we're gonna talk about how the people who swing the same way I do and probably look and sound a whole lot like me should learn.
Wait, is he talking to me?
To shut the hell up when it comes to pride. Folks, it is the year 2025. Information is free. There is no excuse not to know that our friends, the Rainbow Rangers, have been here since the beginning of forever. No matter what your pastor tells you, no matter what that priest said, no matter what your pawpaw put in your head, not even if you prayed about it 24/7 and 10 times on Sunday.
Dude, this is my dude. Oh my God, we should be watching way more videos of the pissed off bartender. This is amazing. And what he's saying is there's a difference between ignorance and willful ignorance. And ignorance can be an excuse for making mistakes. Ignorance can be an excuse for hating when it's immoral to do so. But willful ignorance means that the information is available to you and you could do something about your ignorance, but you choose not to. Most likely because you're an insecure piece of human garbage. But, you know, hey, there might be other reasons, like you're a bigot. But what he's saying is 100% true. There is ignorance, and then there is willful ignorance. I cannot speak today.
Gay people are not going to disappear. Gay is not something you can just pray away. You cannot lead somebody back to the light when it comes to love. You can't hate the sin but love the sinner. This isn't a lifestyle, Karen. This is a person. But you know what you can do?
I can't drink
coffee. You can shut the fuck up. No, seriously, it's that simple. If you find yourself feeling like you are fixing to say something homophobic, shut the fuck
up.
Because
yeah, there we go.
To say needs to be heard. But Mr. Bartender, My belief system clearly says that homosexuality should be banned. First and foremost, potential friend or foe, I need you to understand that your belief system is purely for you.
There you go.
If your belief system enables you to be a better person, then by all means. But you must remember, that don't mean shit to me.
Yep, and that goes back to freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from criticism. If you want to say something stupid, just like if you guys remember that Resistor Vic video that we watched, where he said, I'm tired of MAGA. I'm tired of acting like it's my job to fix their broken ass brains. So from this point on, if you're a conservative that voted for Trump and you recognize your mistake, we can have a conversation. But if you're a conservative that believes that everything Donald Trump is still doing is good for our society, then I'm just going to look at you like you're fucking stupid. You can go ahead and you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can say being gay should be banned, but I'm going to tell you you're a fucking moron. And just so we're completely clear, banning gayness does not mean gayness goes away. Just like in Iran, where they say they don't have any gay people in Iran, I have fucking news for you, Iranian people. There are gay people. There are way more gay people in your society than you could ever, even imagine. There are so many gay people in your society, Iranian people, that if you found out, you might just burn down your own country, okay? And then maybe the gay people could just take over and make it a better country. That could happen. That could happen. So I don't know. Maybe that's what we should just let them know how many gay people are in Iran. Well,
your belief system should be like a shield held before you when you need to stand firm in your convictions, not a sword used to strike at others who don't have the same set. And that's about the nicest way I can say that without getting into some straight up sacrilege. And before you come at me in the comment section, please understand that I grew up underneath the Southern Baptist Association and at one point was a registered evangelist. I know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
In fact, knowing what I'm talking about and actually reading the book is what led me to leave the church. If you read a little bit more than the passages that your pastor leads you through on Sunday, then take a step back and look around at all the people beside you, you will probably realize that none of them live by it either, and you probably don't want to be there.
Yep, and he's demonstrating that when ignorant, there is a way to educate yourself to make yourself no longer ignorant. Therefore, he was not willfully ignorant, but ignorant. And as I pointed out multiple times before on this show, a lot of what these MAGA supporters believe are things that I grew up with, things that I grew up believing. And during that time, I will openly admit I was ignorant. But when confronted with information, verifiable facts, verifiable statistics, showing the evidence of how these things these people are so concerned about, they're so fearful about, they're so angry about, that they do not exist in the context that they believe that they do, that helped me to become less ignorant. And if there is one thing that you should really want to help make you feel better about who you are and what you represent to society, it should be education, not being ignorant anymore. Like that should be one of the goals within your life, is recognizing that you don't know shit and that you should look things up, find people that do, and then educate yourself in a manner that can make you a better representation of what human beings should be.
But all of that is beside the point. This video is about pride. And for all of the people that watch me that are celebrating Pride this month, motherfuckers, I am proud of you. I am just a cisgendered, heterosexual white male from the deep south, so this month ain't got shit to do with me. But it does my heart so very much good to see all of the people I care about come alive during the month of June. I cannot imagine how miserable it must be to deal with the shit y'all do on a daily basis, so just know your strength does not go unseen. Someday soon, I hope we live in a world where you don't have to be strong, but just know I will always stand shoulder to shoulder with you and scream as loud as I can to make sure we continue to fight for that future. If there ain't nobody left on this planet to tell you how proud of you they are for being the genuine person that you are, well then, friend, it is because I am now referred to in the past tense. And if you got a problem with anything I just said, well then, pal, I got news for you. You are not a good person.
There you
because
go.
At no point can you
100%.
hate someone solely because of who that person loves and consider yourself good people. Now that's going to be it for me today. Happy Pride. If you are one of these horrible homophobes, well then I hope you have a horrible motherfucking month. Do me a favor, if you made it this far, hit all them buttons. Keep the motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth, and remember that the golden rule will always remain yeehaw fuck the law. I love y'all.
Yeehaw fuck the law. Holy shit, that is amazing. You know what I really like about this video too? You know what I love about this video? He's walking around in his backyard and you can see his neighbor's house. This is a man that does not give two fucks. Two fucks. Does not give any fucks at all. Neighbors can hear every word he's saying. Does not fucking care. This is my dude. This is my dude right here. That is good shit right there. And he's right. If you don't like people for who they are because they love somebody different than you love, because you're a straight heterosexual person and you don't like that somebody else is, having sex with the same sex or has found love with the same sex, then you're just a piece of shit human being. And there is no nice way to put that. You're just a garbage ass human being. Just like if you're a racist person, just like if you are anti-Semite, just like if you are a homophobe. If you hate people that you have never met in your life, specifically because those people do something that you don't do, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. Not much more to say. Happy Pride Month, bitches. All right. Yeehaw, fuck the law. Dude, that is in my vocabulary now. I might have to get a soundboard for that one. Yeehaw, fuck the law. That mustache deserves a month of celebration itself. 100%, dude. 100%. All right. Let's see. What did I put in the... I have to remember to put the videos that I said I was going to watch in the video. Elon... Okay, this is Adam Mockler. I know what I'm doing. Stop judging me, guys. I know what I'm doing. Elon kills Trump's bill in final blow. All right, so we're going to watch this Adam Mockler video. And I'm just going to say this because, like I said, my opinion on all of this was Elon Musk saw his companies losing massive amounts of money, recognized that he had to pull back from Doge, chose to do so, but in no way has left the government nor its influence, right? Like, that's my opinion. That's where I stand with that. Now, a lot of people right now are saying, no, we think what Elon's doing is legitimately, like, he is breaking up with Trump during Gay Pride Month, okay? Like, the relationship, the bromance, it's over. They're going to get a virtual divorce using Claude AI. That's what's going on. And I have to say that the more that I watch this and watch it unfold, I do have to say to myself, you might be fucking wrong. I might be wrong. And this might actually be what's going on. And you want to know the craziest thing about this? I know it seemed like it's been about 10 fucking years since Donald Trump became president of the United States. But if you guys remember right, when Trump was elected and he started talking about bringing Elon in, bringing RFK in, all these other people, we all said, who's going to be the first person to go? Who's going to be the first person to be removed? And some of y'all said Elon Musk. Now, I think I said RFK Jr. But these are echoes of his first term. Same thing. People come in, people get kicked out, people write books. It's almost the same shit again. So, for all of you that have said that Elon Musk legit left and is actually having a little bit of a bro spat with Donald Trump, I'm going to tell you guys might be right, but you're going to have to wait until we watch the Jasmine Crockett video, because once Jasmine jumps in, I think I'm back on I'm right and you guys are wrong. But we're gonna see. So let's watch Adam Mockler. Let's watch Adam Mockler talk about Elon Musk calling out the big ass ugly fucking bill. Oh, helps to not mute it. Drink.
All right, breaking news. Only a few days after Elon Musk was standing next to Donald Trump in the Oval Office, he is now openly calling to kill the bill. This is a massive political escalation, not only in MAGA world, but in the world of American politics, because Trump is getting bitten by the exact same person that he used throughout the campaign cycle. One more time, Elon is now leveraging the same platform that he used to get Trump elected to shoot Trump in the foot. Trump is getting hoisted by...
What do you guys think? And also, yes, rest in peace, John Redcorn. Yes, rest in peace, John Redcorn. That shit is... Yeah, I don't want to bring this down right now. So, dude, that shit's insane. So, anyways, you guys know how I feel about that. You guys let me know. You guys let me know what you guys think. Is Elon really leaving? Or is Elon playing the game to keep his stock price up so that way he can keep his money and get the libs back in electric vehicles? You guys tell me.
By his own petard campaign cycle. One more time, Elon is now leveraging the same platform that he used to get Trump elected to shoot Trump in the foot. Trump is getting hoisted by his own petard, and Elon Musk is now calling to eradicate, to kill the quote-unquote big, beautiful bill, which is what Trump calls it, because it is big, but it's not beautiful whatsoever.
No,
it is big, and it disproportionately harms the most vulnerable populations within America. I'm going to break down Elon Musk's thoughts in 1 second, but this is very, very important when talking about the big, beautiful bill. This bill not only massively increases the national debts, but it will lead to Medicaid loss for millions and millions of Americans. Here's the key thing. Republicans are claiming that they're going to cut $800 billion in Medicaid, and they say they're going to do that by targeting illegal immigrants on Medicaid. But that's only a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of $800 billion. Let's say that saves $10 billion. They then say that they are going to do it by stopping transgender surgeries that are done on Medicaid.
Dude,
okay,
there's like
that is again only a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the $800 billion.
Small.
So where's the vast majority of this going to come from? It's going to come from placing Medicaid work requirements across.
Hold on. Bucket says he's playing Go Fish and we are all playing Pin the Tail on the Mustard. Oh, Bucket, my friend. Oh, that's good. That's good.
I love Tesla.
All 50 states in a way that has been proven to be a failure. Arkansas tried the same exact thing, and Arkansas had tens of thousands of people.
Hold on. Mama Brooks says, I think Trump got rid of Musk and won't listen to him because Musk is on drugs and Trump has been a teetotaler his entire life. Trump thinks addiction is a sign of weakness. Hegseth must go next. That is a very strong, that is also very well worded. Okay, teetotaled, I don't even know what a teetotaler is, and I'm afraid to look it up, to be honest with you. But but that's a good call. That's a good call. That's probably the nice middle ground. That's probably the one right there in the middle. That's probably actually the right answer. What's up, Mountain Bike?
Drop 50 states in a way that has been proven to be a failure.
What's
Arkansas tried the same exact thing, and Arkansas had tens of thousands of people drop off of Medicaid because they couldn't jump over the red tape necessary. If you're asking, why am I talking about Medicaid when this video is supposed to be about Elon Musk, it's because this is all looped together. The one big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, it's part of the bill. And one of the excuses that they're using is, so there's two excuses that they're using. One is they want to send it back to the states, right? They want to make the states pay for health care for people if they think that people should get it, right? Well, there's a real problem with that if you live in a red state. And that is red states do not produce the amount of capital necessary to take care of the people that live there. And without the blue states like New York and or California, these red states, now I'm not, like Florida doesn't, they do bath salts. So do they even need medical health care in Florida? I think that they're immune to most diseases except for like leprosy. I heard leprosy was big in Florida. But without the Californias of the country taking care of states like Alabama, you're not going to have health care in some of the most poverty-stricken states in the country. The only red states that potentially could, generate enough revenue are states like Texas and Florida, because they have the size of population in the industry. By the way, a lot of those states also have huge blue cities that generate that money. So once again, even in the red states, the blue cities are the ones that are going to be generating the money necessary to even have that happen. So if you want to say we're going to push it back to the states, then to me that's just an excuse to say we don't want to be the people that are in charge of all of these people losing their health care. We want the states to be at fault. The other excuse that's going to be used there is that there's all of these people currently on Medicare that don't meet work requirements that could meet work requirements. The problem with that excuse is it goes back to the saying that in our judicial system, we would rather see 100 guilty people go free than one innocent man be convicted. The same thing goes for healthcare. Are there people that use the system? Of course there is. In everything, there is fraud and corruption of some sort, and it's almost impossible. In fact, I will say it's impossible to mitigate all of it. So even if they go through with all this stuff, there will be people that freeload off of it. People will find ways to use the system. They always do. But the real problem there is that anybody that has experienced getting Medicaid, Medi-Cal, food stamps, SNAP, knows that this is not a simple task. You don't just fill out a survey and send it to the government and they send you free money. You have to have a counselor. You go through multiple appointments. You have to provide evidence that you are in some way unable to work enough to get enough money to pay for these things. So this idea that what you're going to do is just, once again, most likely use an AI algorithm to choose which of these people do or don't deserve these benefits, you are 100% going to end up with more people that need these benefits, that qualify for these benefits, but that are called out by this algorithm and lose those benefits. Then you will get rid of all of the people that are face or using it for corrupt reasons or taking advantage of it. When RFK Jr. says something like, I know that these people shouldn't have Medicare, he does not know that. He doesn't know that. Because the way that it was determined that these people deserve these benefits is by going through appointments, by giving evidence of the necessity of having these benefits. And there is not enough government workers in the government right now as they continue to fire these people, and there is not enough time for them to sit down and go through each one of these people's cases in a legitimate manner to cut these benefits from people without cutting a bunch of people that do not deserve to be cut. And that is going to have an impact on our society, because when you take away benefits from people that need them in this society, that is a net negative to our society and our economy. Because people, think of it this way. These guys want you to believe that the people that are on Medicare are people that are so lazy that they work the system. Do you think those people are going to then go out and get jobs? These supposedly, allegedly corrupt and fraudulent individuals are going to all of a sudden one day, because the government pushed them hard enough, get up and go get a job. If you believe that, I have some beachfront property in Arizona I would love to sell you. Because that is not how the hustle works, my friends. You want more drug dealers on the street? That's a good way to get them. You want more crime on the street? That's a good way to get it. This is fucking dumb. Just like Trump, just like the people that follow him, It's fucking dumb.
Bill, or as I call it, Elon Musk. If you're asking, why am I talking about Medicaid when this video is supposed to be about Elon Musk, it's because this is all looped together. The one big beautiful bill, or as I call it, the big ugly bill, will radically change the lives of tens of millions of Americans while making the richest of the rich more rich. So I think that's very important that people understand what's being talked about here. Now, Elon Musk isn't mad because of the tax cuts. Elon Musk is mad because he views the debt as an imminent crisis in America. He thinks that we are on the verge of running off of a cliff, and Trump is going to accelerate that. Let me remind you, Elon Musk posted roughly 24 hours ago exactly, while Senate Republicans were having their lunch.
And I will agree with Elon Musk on that. That the debt is out of control because right now, the last I looked at it, I think we were 122% or 129% to the budget, right? So the way that our debt works is our GDP versus our expenditures, right? So if our GDP is negative 22%, that means every year we are 22% further in the hole, right? So, like at some portions of America's history, the best times in our history, the debt to GDP ratio was like 29 or 25%, right? And we haven't had a negative GDP to debt ratio except for in the past like 5 or 6 years, and that's because of COVID. And that's also because of a huge amount of money that Donald Trump in his first term added to it. Donald Trump added $4 trillion worth of debt to the budget through his tax cuts, the same tax cuts that he's trying to re-up right now, his first time in office. He then, at the end, when COVID was in full scale, as he was leaving office, put forth the CARES Act, which was another $4 trillion worth of debt. So all in all, over the next decade, Donald Trump, during his first term in office, will have added $8 trillion to the debt. And that is through the policies that he put forth. The way to stop that debt from continuing to snowball is not to alienate allies. It is not to push our trade partners into the arms of other people. It is not to downsize the size of the government and replace it with a faulty AI that is in beta and use it on the American people as though we are testers. It is not to claim that you are going to bring back old school jobs to manufacture like we did 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. The way to get America out of that debt problem is to look with a fine-tooth comb for legitimate corrupt fraud and waste in the government. Look for places that things can be downsized. Find places where government officials that are corrupt are taking advantage of the system. And it is to tax the ultra wealthy. So that way we do not need to cut social safety nets, which will lead to a net negative because unhappy people do not make good workers. Anybody that has worked in an environment where unhappy people work with them can tell you that the production of a happy worker versus an unhappy worker is really fucking night and day. And this is what I keep saying about all this. Probably the most annoying part of this administration isn't how shitty of a human being that Donald Trump is that he continues to lie to people and make them feel like they're going to get some kind of steel working job or car manufacturing job, and that's going to bring back America. We're not driving down the debt by doing that. We are only increasing it. And the budget bill that just came out said that $2.4 trillion will be added to the debt from the tax cuts, that the economy will shrink, inflation will go up, unemployment will go up, 33,000 jobs. That's what was added in the private sector. It was projected for 115,000. And I've been saying this for the past 4 months when people say, what about the job numbers? What about the job numbers? What about the job numbers? I've been saying all of this has been front loaded. People were getting ready for a better economy, And then Donald Trump came out and decided he wanted to play God with the economy because he thinks he's smart, and he's a fucking moron. And we're all going to pay for that.
And while Caroline Leavitt was giving a speech, he said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive,
you can't get rid of the debt
outrageous,
by giving
pork-filled congressional
breaks to the
spending
fucking
bill is a
ultra-wealthy."
disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." And this got 117 million
Holy
views.
shit.
There were reports that
shit.
senators, Republican senators, while they were out their lunch, were passing around phones and were looking at this tweet, and a lot of them said no comment. Or a lot of them were saying he's right, but it's not his place to say this. This is our place to vote on it. So the thing is, really quickly before we continue about the big beautiful bill, I just want to talk about being hoisted by your own petard for 1 second, which is an old-fashioned catchphrase to say you shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the foot. And this is why I think that. 24 hours after Elon Musk sent his first tweet calling to basically kill the bill, this one, it got 117 million views. Now, 6 months ago, or roughly 6 months ago, during election season, during campaign season, this was 8 months ago now? I'm sorry, time is flying. So 8 months ago, during campaign season,
is it, Adam?
Elon Musk's propaganda-filled tweets getting 100 million views only benefited Trump. Elon would every single day post about immigrants voting, immigrants eating cats and dogs. Elon would every day post about trans people. And when Elon made these posts, they would get hundreds and hundreds of millions of views. And those views would flood people's Twitter feeds. And this arguably swayed the outcome of the election. I would argue that it did. It did sway the outcome of the election. So the point here is, Elon Musk is now using that same platform, that same exact leverage to nuke what Donald Trump is actively working on. Elon Musk says Republicans need to start over on the Trump budget bill. He's calling to kill it. He wants to kill the bill entirely. And this is another really interesting piece. Elon Musk then boosted a post trying to sow discontent within the Republican Party, trying to sow division. Just look at this. Elon Musk retweeted this, and of course it gets the normal 3.8 million views. And the original post that Elon decided to boost says this: "Fox News comments is a great place to understand conservative views since they get so much traffic. I was curious what the people were saying about Elon shit-talking the BBB, and I'm shocked. Almost every comment is in agreement with Elon. To see so many vehemently disagreeing with Trump is wild. GOP better be real careful." And before I read some of these comments, all that I ask from you guys is to...
So, and before he reads the comments, I'm going to say one thing about this, though. This is the problem with the thinking that these are Trump supporters that are commenting. They're not Trump supporters. They're people that fell into the bullshit. They're people that, they were disillusioned with the Democratic Party. They're disillusioned Bernie bros. They're people that thought that Trump was going to shake up the political system. Anybody that's speaking out in the manner that I'm sure these people are about to speak out in are not going to be Trump supporters. As I've said before, there is a myriad fracturing within the Republican Party. And there are multiple different types of Trump supporter. There are conservatives who only vote down party lines, and he had an R next to his name, and they voted for him. Those kind of people, probably upset. There are Trump people that are in his camp because of RFK Jr. or because they're mad about what happened with Bernie. Those people aren't going to change their opinions because those people support RFK Jr. Therefore, as long as RFK Jr. gets the place in the cabinet, they support him. The moment RFK Jr. is out of that cabinet, then it's a free-for-all. There are also people that are the grifter, elite, Charlie Kirk style Trump supporters that make a lot of money off of riding Trump's coattails. Those people are not going to be the people in these comments. Look at what happens with Laura Loomer. She comes out, she says something that she doesn't like about something. The next thing you know, she's in the doghouse. She has to come out and act like everything was cool, right? In fact, this is a perfect moment for her because she talked a bunch of shit about Elon Musk. So this will be perfect for her to go in on Elon Musk. And then now she's back in Trump's good graces. And then there are the QAnon people that have straight up said they will never vote again in any election because Donald Trump isn't in it. They'll never vote for anybody but Donald Trump. So my main problem with using these comments as some type of testing point for whether or not these people are upset or whether or not this will affect conservative politicians is that a lot of these people that are commenting in this, they're not actually like Trump people. So they never liked Trump type candidates in the first place. Instead, these are conservatives that maybe might not vote for Lindsey Graham or Ted Cruz or one of these other people. But I severely doubt it because they've been conservative their whole life and they'll vote for anything with an R next to its name. So that's the one thing I want to say about this.
Drop a like. Drop some blue hearts below.
Hi,
if there is ever a time where we want to sow division and we want to boost the truth, this is the time. So let's boost these Fox News Republicans who are saying Elon Musk is absolutely correct. It is way past time for a balanced budget amendment to be written into the Constitution. As far as cuts go, a good place to start would be to stop sending our taxpayers into foreign countries. Okay, sorry, I never said these comments would be intelligent. I just said these comments would disagree with Trump. Someone then says, immediately stop all spending of any federal or state money on migrants. Not one red cent to them. No Medicaid, no free housing, no food stamps, no free college. America can no longer afford to be the world's welfare provider. Okay, this is very Fox News, but let's continue. This says, I agree with Musk on this one. This is one area where I'm not happy with Trump. He's basically a Democrat when it comes to spending.
What? Oh my God, these people are fucking... I almost said it. I almost did it. It was that close, guys.
I love the poorly educated.
That's what I'm gonna say instead. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
Lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I can enjoy this family restaurant.
That's what I'm gonna say instead.
Spending. I'm sorry, Democrats don't spend as much as Trump.
Thank you.
Trump is unique. He's in his own league when it comes to spending. They need to balance the budget and start paying down the debt. I hope this bill fails and they redo it with a proper spending bill. Someone said Elon Musk's warning hits deeper than most realize. Excessive government spending doesn't just threaten our economy, it threatens our freedom. Okay, a weirdly coherent Fox News comment. Someone said Musk is right. I didn't want Trump to cut spending in some areas only to increase it in others. I want spending cuts to eliminate the deficit and then start paying down the debt. Another point that I want to make is that this bill is antithetical to every single thing that Trump ran on. Trump ran on downsizing the government with Doge, yet he's blowing up the debt and the deficit. Trump then ran...
Because everything that he says is fucking bullshit. Donald Trump, like I said, people give way too much credit to him. They think he has a plan. Donald Trump wakes up each day and goes, who the fuck am I pissed at today? And what can I do to make them upset? How can I troll them? How can I make the libs cry? How can I get back at them? You might want to get back to them soon. How do I get back at them? He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's had a chip on his shoulder since he came to New York, and old money families wouldn't let him into their fucking circles. That's why he became a friend of Roy Cohn, because Roy Cohn also had a huge fucking chip on his shoulder. There's no plan here for him. The only plan are the people that are stuffing his pockets full of money that want him to not regulate AI for the next 10 years. Tech oligarchs have plans. Donald Trump does not have plans. The taco thing, the whole Trump always chickens out, is probably going to end in Donald Trump putting like a 200% tariff on China and then being like, I'm going to prove to them that I'm not a chicken. I'm just going to keep 200%. While the country fucking burns down, Donald Trump will be giving speeches about how you guys said I always chicken out. I didn't chicken out. 200% tariffs on China. Yep. The world is burning. It's true. But Donald Trump did not chicken out.
On helping the working class and the lower class, except he is putting in permanent tax cuts for the richest of the rich while having temporary tax cuts that aren't even tax cuts. They're just...
Dude, skinny. This is I was having a little bit of a we were doing some skits, me and an employee, because one of my employees was talking about Trump, And I said Trump used to be a Democrat. And they were like, no way. No, he wasn't. And I was like, yeah, because Donald Trump is an empty vessel that gets filled with dollars and gratitude. And to be honest with you, I do think that the Democrats missed a chance at something. Because if they would have accepted Trump into the fold, Trump right now, in June, would be standing on a podium going, I love the gays, Pride Month, everybody says, Donald Trump, he celebrates Pride Month, everybody loves it, gay men everywhere, they love me, they love Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, I'm practically gay, but not really, just kind of, a little bit, mostly for Hannibal Lecter. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, no fucking way. But I think you guys are fucking wrong. I think 100% Donald Trump will do what anybody tells him to do as long as they give him money and appreciation. And it just so happens that the Democrats were like, no, we have morals. They're not great morals. But, I mean, some are pretty good, but they do fluctuate. But even Donald Trump was a bridge too far. Will we at times delve in corporate interest? Turns out. Will we at times bomb countries with drones? Turns out. Okay. Will we make promises? Can't keep. Yeah, do that too. Will we bring Donald Trump in and use him to get what we want? Turns out that was a bridge too far. But all I'm saying is that there was a moment in time in which this whole timeline could have pivoted a whole completely other route, in which Donald Trump would be up there going, my daughter, Ivanka, she's trans. You might not know it. She's not. No, you might not know that she is. She is, though. She is. I love the trans. Like, fucking, I will put money on that shit. That is true.
Extensions from his 2017
Thank
Tax
you,
Cuts
Bucket.
and Jobs Act. Someone else says, I agree with Musk on this one. I like Trump as much as any conservative, but he is a crazy spender. But that's how you get elected.
Jeremy.
Regardless, he needs to cut spending somewhere. I would start with ditching the Golden Dome. Okay, so they're starting to realize, and anything that has to do with financing
Later,
trips to
Bucket.
Mars. So it seems like the Fox News commenters are realizing that spending money on a Golden Dome, while also passing a very high, very huge, big spending bill, is not good. Someone says Musk is right on the money. The debt must be reduced. Trump has done some great things, but this bill isn't one of them. Someone said, why did anyone think that Trump cares about our national debt? He didn't in his personal life, and he doesn't now. He believes that growth will solve the math here.
Yep. There are very interesting statistics that you should look up on what happens when you give ultra wealthy people tax breaks. Because the mindset of people like Donald Trump are that you give tax breaks to the wealthy, and then the wealthy inject that money into America, and then the economy's through the roof, everything's great, money's pouring in, but that's not what happens. That's why during times of crisis, you don't give stimulus to ultra wealthy people, you give it to poor people, because poor people spend money in the economy. Poor people, middle class people, upper middle class people are in this place where it is a necessity for them to spend the money that they get. So they inject it back into society. Ultra wealthy people, if you give them money, they just keep it. That's what they do. That's what you do when you have so much fucking money that you can't spend it all in your lifetime. You don't reinvest in the fucking community. You put it away, because if you were going to reinvest in the community, you would have done it with all the other fucking money that you have. Everything conservatives believe about injecting money into the upper wealthy echelon of society can be proven incorrect by looking at all the times that conservatives have tried to do that and seen that the GDP does not grow in any significant manner during that time. All of those statistics exist, but Trump supporters are too fucking ignorant to go look them up.
here, but that's risky. As you know, given the economy was already good. What do you mean? You guys have been saying for the past 4 years that the economy is in the dumpster. And there are valid criticisms of the US economy regarding wealth inequality, regarding a lot of families having to work 2 jobs, a lot of single people having to work 2 jobs, regarding most Americans not even having 5.
You guys remember when I said Trump supporters come in here and they make a really shitty argument for why the economy is bad? Adam Mockler is making the correct argument for what is wrong with the economy. And this is what I've said multiple times. When Trump supporters come in here, I say, like, you have an argument, but you don't know what the fuck it is. That's why I think you have no idea what you're talking about. When you come in and say the economy is bad, and I say by what metric, and you say just look around, that's not an argument. If you want to make the argument that 2 people have to work in every fucking home just to be able to afford to pay the rent, that's an argument. If you want to say that wages have not kept up with costs over time for the middle class, that's an argument. If you want to say that there is a complete lack of entry-level jobs for people without college educations to make enough money to benefit society, that's a fucking argument. It's not just look around, brother. That's just as bad as there's only 2 genders. Why? 'Cause God. That's not a fucking argument. That's just your feelings. That's an I think statement. That's an I feel statement. That is not an argument. Good job. Good job, Adam.
$500. Me regarding wealth inequality, regarding a lot of families having to work 2 jobs.
Welcome back, Nina.
A lot of single people having to work 2 jobs, regarding most Americans not even having $500 for an emergency. There are a lot of valid criticisms, but my complaint is that Republicans have been basically pulling criticisms out of thin air and putting them on Biden in order to make Biden look bad. And now they're admitting the economy actually wasn't that bad. Now that they see what Trump wants to do with the economy and the debt and tariffs, they're starting to say, why are you skyrocketing deficit spending when the economy was already in...
Wait, hold on. Guys, do you think... Here you go. Do you think this is going to result in Trump supporters actually reading some statistics? Do you think Elon Musk calling out Donald Trump on the big beautiful bill and then being like just the hypocrisy of Trump running on reducing the deficit, reducing the debt, and then Elon Musk calling out, do you think this might actually lead to Trump supporters looking some of this shit up? I don't have any faith or hope in it, but I think there's a possibility.
In a decent place, and I'll leave it at that. You know, again, if you're ever going to boost a video to help sow discontent and distrust in the Republican Party, it's going to be this one, where Elon Musk and Donald Trump are at each other's necks. I also have a few announcements. Number 1, I have a really fun debate with Blair White coming out tonight. I just debated one of the largest conservative trans figures, and it was fun. You guys are going to really like it. Also, I am building Mockler Media. I am building a network, and I need your help. All I need from you is to just subscribe, drop a like. I love you all, and peace out.
Good job, Adam. Good job, buddy.
Do this to raise your credit score fast.
Adam's doing a great job. All right. So we got the side of Elon is criticizing Trump. We got that side. Okay? Now let's get my side. Jasmine Crockett here. Jasmine Crockett is going to make... She is my champion. She is my queen. Jasmine Crockett is going to make for me the argument to the people that Elon Musk has not left the government, that his smelly ass is still all up in there dropping K and letting his son like fucking go through the treasury records. Jasmine Crockett, come through for me. Be the champion that I am asking for. Let's watch. Jasmine Crockett. Musk may be gone, but his stench still lingers.
Musk is not completely going away.
Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations.
I expect to remain a friend and an advisor, and certainly if there's anything the president wants me to do, I'm at the president's service.
Boom! Fucking winning! Winning! The motherfucker gave him a gold key! Do you need any better metaphor for what exactly Elon Musk is going to be locked out of than a golden key from the government? That shit right there, if that isn't foreshadowing, I do not know what it is.
Doge cuts have certainly been sweeping. According to a New York Times analysis, Doge has cut 99.
Oh, good thing we cut 99% of Voice of America, a fucking a news radio that broadcasts to other nations throughout the world to help to spread democracy and give the rest of the world a reason to be something like America. Just like Joseph McCarthy, Donald Trump doesn't like it when a news media station actually just reports facts. Hates that shit just like McCarthy did. Oh, good thing we cut USAID, the main contributor to good capital, good faith capital for the rest of the world, the soft power that America has. So now we have cocoa trees in countries that we could be helping that are being destroyed by black rot. Cocoa prices are going through the roof because America refuses to step in. Oh, this is fucking amazing. We cut AmeriCorps. That's amazing. We are really doing the Department of Education, only 46% at least. Really, we are making this country so great, guys. Doing a fucking great job.
9% of personnel at broadcaster Voice of America and USAID, as well as nearly half the workforce at the Department of Education and nearly a quarter of employees
the voice
at
of
HHS.
Trump bandit. Oh,
As
no.
for the $2 trillion in savings Musk promised last fall, it's just $175 billion.
And it's not $175 billion. They fired people. They cut USAID. They got rid of the voice. They want to end Sesame Street. They want to end NPR. They want to end PBS. This country is fucking stupid.
As of this week, according to Doge's website. Although the website has a history of dubious information, for instance, it claimed $8 billion in savings from a contract that was actually just $8 million and posted quote-unquote receipts that saved no money. And there's no real evidence of the fraud Musk has pledged to find. The so-called fraud Doge touted was either previously uncovered or wildly overblown.
Jesus.
Joining us now is the Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine
Let's
Crockett,
go, Jasmine.
who serves on the House Doge Subcommittee. Congresswoman, welcome to the weekend. So just your thoughts on Elon Musk and his
Let's hear it,
departure
Jasmine.
from Washington.
Hallelujah is what I gotta say. Is it Sunday? Let us all give thanks to the good Lord above. Listen, let me tell you something. He is gone, but the Musk is still going to linger in the air. We know, as you went through in your intro, that there are so many people that have been impacted by these ridiculous and not thought out cuts. And it's not just the federal workers. It's those constituents of ours, our citizens, that are being impacted the hardest by these cuts.
Yeah, did you guys see More Perfect Union has a video? And they go to West Virginia and they talk to Trump supporters. Not Jordan Klepper Trump supporters, not JFK Jr.'s coming back from the dead Trump supporters. Like conservatives that voted for Trump because they thought that he was going to turn the economy around and that he's going to bring back jobs. So when you talk about places like West Virginia, you're talking about cities that like boomed during manufacturing, like Detroit, for one, in Michigan is a great example of the car manufacturing boom, right? And there are legitimate reasons for why those people despair, why they feel so bad, why they're so desperate for anybody that will like reach out to them and help them. The really shitty thing about this is that anybody that claims that they're going to help them by bringing back auto manufacturing or the steel industry or any of these, older type jobs that these other countries in the world have been doing for so much longer now because we gave up on doing it, because we sent our task force, our job workforce overseas. The fact that they're gaslighting these poor people into believing that all they have to do is vote for this man and he's going to make these cities better again, is one of the most egregious, most fucked up, most dishonest things I've ever seen in my life. And to make it all worse, the More Perfect Union goes there and asks these people, they're at a dirt track, a raceway, and they ask them, like, what do you think about so far what Trump has done? And a lot of them are pretty honest. A lot of them say, well, there's some things that we think are really bad. They talk to like a small business person that says, like the tariffs have really affected me. And at this point, like my sales are way down, which, as I said before, these tariffs are a bloodbath for small businesses, for people that don't have the overhead to pivot, to change their supply chain. It is an absolute bloodbath for small businesses to keep tariffs in place, even at 10%. And, they're not going to be able to just change their supply. But once again, Donald Trump's a big business person. He said about farms, he said, small farms are bad. Big corporate farms are good. They do things more efficiently. They are better for the country because they produce better stuff. These people also talk about, other things that he's done that they're like, oh, it could have been better this, it could have been better that. But one of the main things that they get to, that they talk about, is that the budget office that they cut is in this town. And it is one of the biggest employers, if not the biggest employer in this town. And over 100 people were fired from this place. And they talked to a couple people that were working there that said, this is like one of the only jobs in the city, the only good paying jobs in the city. So the thing about saying that Trump's going to help these Bible Belt, industrial cities get back to where they were before is not only is he gaslighting these people by saying that he's going to do something that he can't or will not do, but even worse, he fired people from the only place that was giving these people jobs. And then, in my opinion, as I stated at the beginning of the stream, I believe that they are replacing these people with artificial intelligence. Not just artificial intelligence, but beta artificial intelligence. So it's just a compounding problem. Not only are you firing people, you are then replacing these people with automation, which means that even if the economy were to get better, that these people wouldn't get their jobs back in this city at this government facility, because once automation makes its way into a job, it doesn't get less, it only gets more. Something I've tried to explain to people before. If you have a company and they're offered a AI or automation solution, a lot of companies are going to be really scared to use that automation at the very beginning because it costs a lot of money. You have to create infrastructure. You have to train less employees, but you do have to train some employees on how to use it properly, right? So it's actually a large upfront cost to bring in automation. So a lot of companies that are doing well do not incorporate automation until it's a necessity to do so. Once they do incorporate automation and they see that they can drive profits while pushing down labor costs, not only do they increase the amount of automation within their business, but other companies see what they do, see the profits that they generate, and then they follow along with what they did. This is one of the things that I said when people say, when somebody says Biden's unemployment was 3.9% and he added 16 million jobs or whatever it was, right? And people say, who cares? That doesn't count. That doesn't count. He added all the jobs back that were lost during COVID. What you're not recognizing is that those jobs still existed when those people came back into the workforce. Because Joe Biden was somebody who legitimately cared about the blue-collar people in our country. He came from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He was a blue-collar guy. He legitimately cared about those people. He walked a picket line with those people. He supported unions because he supported those people. Donald Trump doesn't believe any of those things. He hates unions. He doesn't give a shit about blue-collar people. He thinks that bigger corporations do it better than smaller businesses. And like I said, it's not just a single lane problem where people are going to lose their jobs. It's not just a dual lane problem where they're going to lose their jobs and then he's gaslighting them and he's not really going to bring back manufacturing to these cities. But it's even worse than that. Because not only is he creating a situation where these people are hopeful, but then he's firing them and he's going to replace them with automation because the people that are paying him to do this shit are people that believe in automation and AI. And unless you get a democratic socialist or socialist president to follow up on this shit and put something like UBI in or put in some kind of social safety net like SNAP or welfare for people, this is a fucking ticking time bomb. This is the worst case scenario that this country has faced since the Great Depression. The fact that people are calling this the possibility of being the Greater Depression should tell you enough. These aren't Democrats saying this. Is this fucking the rich dad, poor dad guy. He's about as far away from being a liberal as you possibly can be. And he is forecasting that this will be a Greater Depression. And it's not going to get better. That's what's so fucking bad about this.
And so here it is, not just the federal workers, it's those constituents of ours, our citizens that are being impacted the hardest by these cuts. And so here it is, you basically let this guy run wild. And honestly, I feel like all of the cuts to federal employees, that was nothing more than a distraction for the things that he really wanted to do, which is to make sure that there was no oversight over his companies, the companies that were under investigation. This was to kind of keep us busy and distracted. And unfortunately, in the process, we have harmed our federal government. And ultimately, we are harming our overall economy.
Look at them fucking... Goddamn, dude. I hate mainstream media. Look at the chick in the top right. The white chick. What the fuck are you smiling about? Oh my god. Bottom left understands. Bottom left is like, oh my god, this shit is bad. Top right is like, I'm supposed to smile. I'm on the news media. I'm supposed to smile. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking up. But that shit sticks out to me. I'm like, what the fuck are you smiling about? This isn't... Like, come on, dog.
Economy.
Yeah, Congressman, like you said, the damage has already been done. The people have been fired. A lot of those changes have been made. Is there any reason for folks to anticipate that at some point the Congress or someone will be able to claw back some of these jobs and policies
there we go.
that
Stop
people
smiling.
really need around the country?
I mean, would you really want to work for the federal government at this moment? I mean, like let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, in reality, we have been down as it relates to some of our federal workforce anyway. This is one reason that the Biden-Harris administration invested so much money in the Inflation Reduction Act when it came to the IRS, because they wanted to make sure that those people that were best trained to do those complicated audits of people's taxes,
which is who gets audited? Who gets audited in America? Ultra wealthy people. Wealthy people get audited. One of the reasons that they wanted to add those 80,000 plus employees to the IRS wasn't because those people were going to come and check on your ass that makes $70,000 a year. It was because the most money that can be made in our government is by auditing rich people that use loopholes and commit tax fraud. And conservatives are so fucking thick. So thick. That they're coming for me. We shouldn't improve the IRS because the IRS is going to come and get my money. They don't come for you. And if you fucking ever looked up a statistic in your entire fucking life, you would know that. But you don't want to look that up because it's going to break your whole fucking reality. The amount of money that the government makes by auditing middle-class families is like a 1-for-1. In other words, they spend like $1 and they make like $1. The amount of money that the government makes by auditing ultra wealthy or wealthy people is they spend $1 and they make 7. These are people that are committing tax fraud. These are people that are using loopholes. And you're so fucking thick. You're such a fucking victim that all you sit there and think to yourself is, good, I'm glad they're getting away with it. You fucking morons. If they get away with it, you pay more money. If they get away with it, the debt grows larger. If they get away with it, you pay the price. And it only gets worse the bigger the wealth gap gets. But you're just going to sit there and talk about, I don't think the IRS should get any bigger because we shouldn't have to pay taxes. You know who don't pay fucking taxes? People that are wealthy enough to employ people to find loopholes so that way they don't have to. You know who does pay taxes? You do. And you always will, no matter what fucking Donald Trump tells you. You will always pay taxes. It doesn't matter if it's the income tax or it is regressive taxes like tariffs or value-added taxes. You will always pay taxes. And you know who won't? The people that you are supporting and keeping their fucking boot on your fucking neck. You thick motherfuckers. God damn it.
Basically the very, very rich, making sure that we have the best of the best to make sure that we could bring in additional income. In addition to that, while we've been talking about the reconciliation package and we've been talking about the cuts and how many people are going to potentially lose their health care or how many people are going to lose food off of their tables, one of the things that we've not been able to do, because there's, again, still so much in this terrible bill, is talk about things that happened in the Oversight Committee, such as deciding that they don't want federal government employees to have the protections that the federal court has acknowledged and said, hey, you've got to reinstate these federal employees. Instead, they want to change federal employees to at will. So a lot of the things that once attracted people to want to come and work for the federal government, they are disappearing as well as making them pay more into their FERS. So it's absolutely insane, and nobody wants to come work for us right now.
Congresswoman, yesterday in the Oval Office, it didn't exactly sound like Trump and Elon Musk were completely breaking up. He sounded like he might still be lingering in some unofficial capacity. Yet, he had to end his special. He was at the final day as a special employee. How is the House Oversight Committee going to keep holding
I guarantee they found a workaround.
Doge and Elon Musk accountable?
You said keep. We never started. Doge was just a little pet project for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be able to say, hey, they gave me something. I've got a gavel. And so, the last Doge hearing that we had, it was on trans folk doing fencing. We were talking to people that don't get any federal dollars whatsoever, and dealing with that. We have a Doge subcommittee hearing coming up, and it's to talk about NGOs and basically to go after them. We have had a hearing on PBS and talk about why it's important to quote unquote defund PBS. We've not dealt with those things. We have tried to subpoena Elon Musk before. The Republicans did not want to do that. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have your main man come in and tell us about all the great work that he's doing, unless he absolutely isn't doing any great work.
Because he is high as fuck on ketamine.
So, listen, I think that unfortunately we're going to have to wait until the Democrats are in the majority, which will hopefully be in the midterms. And then we can absolutely bring Elon Musk in and we can have him under oath and we can have him tell us about everything that he did. Because as I've been home this week, to hear from my seniors that are concerned and don't have answers about.
You know why they don't want to bring him in? Because he can't do what all these other people do. He can't do what the Hegseths do. He can't do what RFK is doing. He can't do what Kristi Noem is doing. Elon Musk will 100% put his fucking foot in his mouth. He'll say something stupid. He'll say something that will get him in trouble and get other people in trouble. They will never allow Elon Musk to sit on that stand in front of these people and get picked apart like they know he will. God damn, they will never do that.
How much information he had access to and what he did with that sensitive information, they are scared.
Congressman, have a listen to what Elon Musk had to say in an interview on Tuesday about his thoughts on the so-called big, beautiful bill that was passed by the House.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both.
Jesus.
Congresswoman, I have no question. Just hold forth.
Listen, I mean, I'm not necessarily besties with Elon, but when I can agree, I'm just going to agree because it's just the truth. The reality is that we saw when this bill passed the House, which it barely made it over the finish line, 215 to 240.
Dude, it made it because a fucking Democrat died. Oh my God. You want to talk about me getting upset with the Democratic Party and the age of the people. What is it, like 3 Democrats have died because of how old they are that haven't been replaced yet? Oh. Man.
14. We know that there were 2 Republicans that somehow went MIA. We know that 2 Republicans voted with us. And then we know that 1 Republican just voted present. And let me just tell you, even if a Republican voted with us, it wasn't for the same reasons, okay? But we got to the same result, which is that this is a big, bad bill, okay? And their reasons for saying, you know what, we're not going to vote for this is because they still want to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion.
Yep.
And so what I have explained to people is that the cuts that they want to give to the rich folk in this country are so deep that even after cutting almost 14 million people off their health care and cutting over $300 billion out of SNAP benefits, as well as all the other ugly stuff, and we don't talk about the fact that they want to have this big chunk of money so that ICE...
Voted present venture is the coward's way of saying, I don't agree with what's going on, but I'm just gonna vote present so that way people know I was here and it's recorded as you being there, but you won't vote yes or no. It's some coward shit.
Agents can get approximately $42,000 a piece in a bonus. So we had money that was going up for crazy stuff. And then we also, of course, had to set aside enough money so that somebody could go golfing. I believe that the number may be $1 billion or so over the 4 years for him to be able to go golfing. This doesn't really make sense. And frankly, nobody has asked for these things to be their priorities. But there are fiscal, responsible Republicans that are saying, listen, I don't think they really care about the cuts, but they absolutely care about the fact that we still are needing to lift the debt ceiling and honestly have nothing to show for it.
One might say that...
Yeah, how could you possibly believe that they're cutting spending in the government when they are increasing the debt ceiling by $5 trillion? How are people this dumb? How? How are people this dumb?
I love the poorly educated. I love Tesla.
You would call this a bad-built Butch bill. Go on, Elise.
Bad-built Butch bill. That's pretty funny. Good job, Jasmine. Keep calling them out, Jasmine. How do you get these people to understand that everything that they've been told is a goddamn lie? That there's nothing that comes from this that's going to be good for them. Nothing. Zero. A decade from now, none of these people will be telling you about how excuse me, how they became ultra wealthy because of Trump's what he did with tariffs. None of these people are going to be talking to you about how sorry. God damn it. I'm still affected by my allergies. How their city was rebuilt by Trump. It's fucking insane to watch, man. Let's watch something funny. I'm watching all these serious videos. I'm up here ranting and shit. How you guys doing down there? Here, let's go big me. There we go. There's the button. How's everybody doing down there? How's everybody doing down there? We doing good? Everybody all right? They only live in the moment and are sustained by their blind hate. That is 100% true, Venture. 100%. America bought by the rich for the rich. Exactly, Venture. Titus. No, it's not that time, Mike. We're watching an Onion video, Mike. It's not Titus time. God. Kitten videos, please. That's probably, we should probably do like nothing but kitten videos on a stream at one point. Just sit here and just like do that. That's what we gotta do. All right, let's watch this video. Let's watch JD Vance rush to Walter Reed after inner hillbilly returns. I'm waiting for this, to be honest with you. I am 100% waiting for the day, because as a person that comes from the trailer park, I know that there are moments where it just escapes, guys. It just comes right out of you. Okay? You say some trailer park shit and everybody looks at you crazy. It's going to happen. JD Vance is going to buckle at one point.
Breaking news now from Washington, where Vice President JD Vance has been hospitalized.
Wait, what the fuck is that pin? What is the pin on his coat? What is that? Trump orders 100% tariff on all films made in pursuit of Blair Witch. It's a witch hunt joke. It's a witch hunt joke, guys.
After the sudden return of his inner hillbilly. After decades in remission, the vice president abruptly began slurring his speech and blowing on a, quote, hootin' jug during...
The serious black man makes it so much better. This ONN, I guess that's an Onion News. That's so good too, because it's like OAN. Diagnosed with aggressive hillbillyism. #MeToo.
During the cabinet meeting this morning, alerting those present that something was urgently wrong.
Oh my God, I can just see it. It's so amazing. Oh, that's good.
Wait! What about your Yankee?
What was it? Yeehaw! Fuck the law! Let's hear JD Vance drop a yeehaw and fuck the law. Oh, man.
Y'all got some damn fine hootin' jugs. I'm gonna catch me a squirrel, teach it to sing all purdy.
Oh, dude, that's some straight up Ray Stevens shit right there. The day the squirrel went berserk.
We're joined now by senior political analyst Jason Copeland.
Dude, is that John Oliver? That's a Timu John Oliver right there. Timu John Oliver.
From Washington.
With the tariffs. Like, you had to buy the cheapest John Oliver you could find because the tariffs are really expensive.
Jason, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, Dwight, I'm being told that the vice president has landed at Walter Reed, where doctors are currently fighting to save.
Oh, I can tell you this. There is no cure. I've tried to cure my trailer park hillbillyism. It finds its way out no matter
Vance's elite status. Now, the vice president has, of course, been very public and open about his past as a yokel, which he overcame at his days at Yale when he underwent multiple rounds of book learning. But
oh no, he said multiple rounds of book learning. Oh, dude, can I get a job? I just want whoever's at the Onion. Like, you are my people. Like, can we please? I mean, can we, like, somebody get a hold of the Onion for me and let them know that I am looking for work. Don't let my boss know that I'm looking for work, though. Okay? Like, definitely keep that on the down low. But somebody help me out. Get me in contact with the Onion. Vance experienced increased bumpkin symptoms in recent days. Comes amid reports of bathtub moonshine in White House.
As you just heard, this morning his condition reportedly took a significant turn for the worst, regressing from bumpkin to hayseed all in just a matter of hours.
Yes, we're now hearing reports of the vice president stripping off his shirt and chasing a hog through the White House rose garden. Jason, what are doctors...
It looks so natural. AI is getting so good. It looks like that is like so natural. Except for, you know what I picture? I picture JD Vance like that, but with like a sofa or a love seat, right? Like he's just like, he's eyeing it, and he's like, the things I'm about to do to you, sofa. Oh, you better get ready for this. Daddy brought all the prophylactics.
Saying about Vance's chance of recovery.
Well, it may still be too early to tell. Vance under...
Dude, silent, you know what I'm saying. Oh, Angela, you know the song too? The day the squirrel went berserk.
Went an immediate banjoectomy on arrival, which has helped to control his mountain dancing. But doctors really won't have a complete...
Oh, he's got a possum. Oh, shit, brother. Is that a possum? Oh, man. Vance pushed to find hillbilly cure while in the Senate. Y'all gotta help me. The voices, they come back.
Picture until they see how Vance responds to the fluids being administered to flush about 8 pounds of gas station Funyuns from his system.
8 pounds. Oh, you can smell the siphoned gas on his breath. That and the cheap pack of GPCs. I can tell you this, growing up in a trailer park, that someone like Vance generally smells like, I would say, let's say Bush beer. Now, it all depends on what hillbilly you are, right? So I'm not from the Appalachians. I'm more of a Bakersfield hillbilly, okay? So I don't know what kind of beer they drink there, okay? So I'm going Bush beer. Smells like Bush beer, a pack of GPCs, and the smell of siphoned gas that you stole out of your neighbor's vehicle the night before using a half a rubber hose. That's how you can smell the trailer park on people.
These are obviously trying times for the vice president and his kinfolk, but we do have to ask about the political implications here.
Yeah, you're right, Dwight. I mean, this is a plowboy that's one heartbeat away from the presidency, and that would, of course, now fall to House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Fuck it, at this point, let's just let it happen. It can't... I'm gonna, I don't want anybody to, pull a hold my beer, but can it get any worse? I don't think so. Usha Vance thanks Americans for outpouring of neckties and soap. Oh, Neuralink approved for testing on patients paralyzed in Tesla autopilot crashes. Oh, Jesus. Somebody give me a job. This is my fucking dream job.
Who, let's be frank, has his own history of
Jeremy,
playing the spoons and eating mud bugs down in the swamplands of Louisiana. But look, Dwight, no matter what side of the aisle you're on right now, your thoughts have got to be with the vice president.
Not gonna lie, I had teeth like that when I was a kid. The buck teeth. It's in the genetics, guys. It's in the genetics.
This is a terrible disease. Big buck teeth can make it nearly impossible to speak. Severe.
Damn, that hurts. Fuck. That's like right to... Like, if I had a soul, that would be right in my soul, guys. Dims wish Vance well, but stress need to be honest about whether VP was ever truly capable of being cosmopolitan. You guys know that I've came far in my trailer park life when you know that I can say the word cosmopolitan without pulling a Trump and being like, Cosmopolitan. 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 Cosmopolitan.
Your pain from catching catfish with your bare hands. I really wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
A truly horrific illness. And has President Trump made any comment on Vance's condition?
No.
Mountain bike. I lived in a trailer park growing up too, and then we had to move the trailer too, so it was same trailer, different park, like the Country Singers album. Oh, I know the feels.
All right.
Catching catfish with your bare hands. I really wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
A truly horrific illness. And has President Trump made any comment on Vance's condition?
No.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Coming up next, a new study on the benefits of breastfeeding. Hear why it could make your children better at suckling later in life.
Oh.
You've seen the news. Now touch it with...
Whew, fuck. What would we do without, like, Titus and The Onion? What would we do during these trying times, guys, without people like Titus and The Onion? Ah, the world. The world would be so bad without them. Let's see. Let's watch this video because I haven't watched any Malcolm Nance, and I've been told by the 21st Century Suffragettes, shout out Diane Russell over there, 21st Century Suffragettes, Benny Loco, shout out Benny Loco. They told me all about Malcolm Nance, and so I want to watch this video from Malcolm Nance. We're going to unmute it and not be terrible at our job. And it's about the Ukrainians bombing the Russian fleet, which of course Trump responded with, Putin says he's going to have to. He's going to have to retaliate. No shit, Donald. Like every other fucking day is Trump says Ukraine and Russia ready to have peace talks. And like 6 hours later, if not 6 minutes later, there's another article about Russia bombing Ukraine or Ukraine bombing Russia. I know that Trump's supporters are not smart enough to actually read articles, but this whole idea that fucking Russia and Ukraine are on the doorstep of peace is only Donald Trump gaslighting you into thinking that he has done anything at all that has been helpful to solving this problem in the war. In fact, if you want to be honest, and I am not at all, I don't feel this is a negative, if you want to be honest, Trump has accidentally ensconced America further in the conflict by citing the minerals agreement that says that America wants to have trade rights with Ukraine in any investiture that America makes in Ukrainian territories. Therefore, any new Ukrainian mines that are created with the help of America literally gives us a reason to fight against Russia if Russia crosses the line and tries to take those mines. Like, Trump has actually done the exact opposite, just like everything else he says of what he said he was going to do. He's actually made us more involved in the Ukrainian conflict. The dude has no fucking idea what he's doing.
It's come to my attention that many of you are confused about just what happened between Ukraine and Russia the other day, and why the title of my video here is Russia Bombers Go Boom. Well, it's just very simple. What we are seeing is...
Have you guys seen the pictures? The satellite pictures of the blown up blown up planes, and also they used AI to help with the drones, and this is something that had been talked about so far, about using AI in the drones to find the targets, because they use all these like stunt targets, and they use decoys. It's pretty crazy shit. And to think that, you know, when Ukraine was invaded, the news stories were like, Ukraine will be gone by the morning, right? It was like, Russia is invading, it's over for Ukraine. And now they literally have taken out a third of Putin's ability to transport nuclear weapons. Like, that is pretty fucking insane.
One of the greatest intelligence operations in history. And
you want me
that's
to play
saying
Randy
something,
Rainbow?
Considering the number of intelligence operations that have been carried out by the Israelis that were just world-class in the last year. As you might recall, the Israelis actually did a supply-side intelligence operation where they actually hired a computer company, bid on a contract for Hezbollah to have cell phones, put explosives into those cell phones, let Hezbollah use them for a year or more, and then at the right time, called all of Hezbollah.
Damn, they let him use them for a year or more. That is crazy. Warfare is like out of control.
Senior members, and blew their heads off with those bombs, which were actually working pagers. That was not just a brilliant intelligence operation. It was one which didn't really take any involvement of Israeli agents in Hezbollah in Lebanon or Syria. They just set up a factory in Asia, built the bombs, got the contract, and blew the Hezbollah operatives up. What we're seeing with Ukraine is something much different. This involved setting up spies inside of Russia who were there to create an intelligence chain of logistics of other spies that...
Do you like how, like, we have the dumbest president that has ever existed, and the dumbest president that has ever existed sat in the Oval Office with a guy who literally played a president in a sitcom that ended up becoming president of his country, and then had the balls to stay and fight a war that no one thought he could win. And our subpar, low IQ president looked at him and said, "You don't have any cards." He treated him like he was his lesser. Meanwhile, the former actor in a sitcom that became president set up something as unique as getting these people into these positions, or not unique, as complicated as setting up something with his, obviously with his leaders, with his generals, to get a spy network set up to make this happen in a country that is like a fucking, in 10 times as big as it is, has a billion times the infrastructure. Like, it's insane to think that our president thinks that he is smarter than Zelensky.
All around Russia,
and also
would
really
move
sad.
Hundreds of drones that they built in Russia, put explosives on them, inserted them into the tops of trucks, and then drove those trucks thousands and thousands of kilometers. And instead of launching drones from Ukraine and letting them fly and get shot down by Russian air defense near these bases, which they couldn't reach, right? One of them was 1,500.
Yep, and I bet you Putin and the Russians 100% believed they were safe because of that. Because they knew, they thought for sure, 100%, that there was no way that the Ukrainians could do this. That is so crazy.
500 kilometers away from Russia, from Ukraine. They drove the trucks to within a kilometer or two, right? That's a few thousand yards. And
yeah, what Skinny just said. Ukraine should be allowed into NATO immediately. Yeah. Dude, that's the type of ally you want on your side. You want people that have that type of backbone. You want people that are that creative with the resources that they have. If there was a group of people that had proved themselves worthy of being in NATO in the past decade or more, I don't know of anybody other than the Ukrainians that have shown the type of steel that they have during this time. I mean, like I said, nobody gave them a chance. Everybody, Democrat, Republican, everybody said that Russia was going to roll right over them.
Launched drones in a swarm that went, identified the bombers, landed, and blew up. Now, why is this one of the greatest intelligence operations in history? I have studied the history of intelligence.
Hold on. Angela says, I feel like the movie Idiocracy in 1930s Germany got together and said, hold our beer. Oh, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
Lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I can enjoy this family restaurant.
Going back to Mesopotamia, landed and blew up. Now, why is this one of the greatest intelligence operations in history? I have studied the history of intelligence going back to Mesopotamia to today. And what we are seeing here is an operation that wasn't just done with all of this, with just the logistics, the supply chain. These spies had to live in Russia for 1 year, according to President Zelensky, 1 year, 6 months, and 9 days to execute this operation.
So once again, like somebody just said the whole time, Zelensky's had this ace in his hand, right? So when he's in the Oval Office with Trump, and Trump's being the moron that he is, And Trump's yelling at him, and Vance is saying, say thank you, say thank you. I mean, this might have been when he was suffering from his hillbilly problem, so we could always use that as an excuse. This whole time, Zelensky knows that he has this ace in the hole. Dude, that guy is... I'm sorry, I don't know Zelensky from many other world leaders. You know, I know about as much as Zelensky as I do about Xi Jinping, right? I know what you can read. I know what I have access to. I don't know who he is as a person. I don't know whether or not he's corruptible or not. But what I do know is that man sat there and took that shit from those fucking morons, knowing that he had this to do, and then he did this shit, and that's some gangster shit, dude. That is straight up gangster.
Purpose of the mission was that Ukraine was being bombarded with these old Cold War relic aircraft, the Tu-95 Bear bomber and the Tu-22 M3 backfire bomber. These bombers were being used as strategic missile launchers and carriers. So they would have 8 to 16 missiles on rails, or they would carry one very large missile or two medium-sized missiles, would come up, fly towards the Ukrainian border, never penetrate Ukrainian airspace, and launch hundreds and hundreds of missiles per night. Ukraine had been bombarded with these missiles daily for over 3 years.
Yeah, you can see the thinking. You can see what they're thinking. You know, when something like that is happening, you have to be creative. You're getting together with people and you're saying to yourselves, like, we can't allow this to continue to go on. If we do, we're done. And that's, this is what I keep saying, is like human beings were precipice species, right? A lot of times the biggest innovations that come from our society, a lot of them actually come from warfare, but they come from humanity reaching a precipice. And we believe everything's fine, and we don't want to change things until we get to that precipice. And then when we get there and we're forced to like change things, we become really innovative and really creative. And that's what actually made America so like innovative, was like all the adversity that the country's history has brought upon the many different people that live here. All the people that were immigrants that came here, the slaves that were brought over here, that were freed. There was so much, or there is so much adversity packed in the first 250 years of American history, and that has bred all this innovation, and also us being minorly insane, but it breeds all that innovation, and to see that from the Ukrainians once again, that's very impressive. That makes me feel like so much respect for those people not just giving in and like holding that line. There's so many people, Trump included, that Trump would sell America down the river if he thought that he had a chance to lose. If he thought for 1 second that he would be humiliated by losing, he would just sell America down the river.
And a concept called kill the archer, not the arrow, which is an air defense concept of don't destroy the missile that's coming in by using another missile or guns to shoot it down. Blow up the platform that is actually launching them so that they may never launch it again, right? So like an archer, you don't intercept the arrow, you intercept the archer by killing the archer.
Yep.
So the Ukrainians decided to put into play this kill the archer, not the arrow missile operation by inserting spies into south central Russia in the 7th largest city in Russia called Chelyabinsk, which is there like Detroit. This is where cars and trucks are manufactured.
Oh, and there's like tons of empty houses. And their football team goes 0-16. And then it like comes back and it does really good. And, like Barry Sanders quits. And then they have like another decade of it being really bad. Oh, wait. Okay. Sorry. I went off on sports. My bad.
This city is on the border of Kazakhstan, which is a former Soviet republic, rife with smuggling and infiltration, an easy place to get into, and also an easy place to get your explosives and equipment, and where money talks. So the Ukrainians set up a bomb factory in that city, assembled drones which
That's
were
insane.
purpose-built by Ukraine for this mission, and some of the components.
Okay, well, that's
out
that's
front
the end of
now.
that video.
President Alexander Stubb of Finland and
Apparently, CNN just cut right in there like this is breaking news. Putin is playing with fire. Putin steps up air assault. Finland's president says Putin made one of the biggest strategic mistakes in recent military history. That's from a week ago. Sounds like he did make a pretty big mistake. All right, Malcolm Nance, we'll have to watch some more of his videos. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like people that have like expertise and not just watching talking heads. I know that I don't know everything. I know that, there's plenty for me to still learn. So I really like that video. If you don't know Malcolm Nance, if you haven't watched Malcolm Nance's videos, you should probably go check that out. That is pretty good stuff. Silent leaving? Bye, Silent. It's probably not leaving. I always say goodbye to people and they're not leaving. Where are we at? 2 hours and 12 minutes. Let's watch this video because I wanted you guys to watch this video. So this is something that I talk about constantly, right? This is what I've been telling you guys for a really long time is what's going on. This is very much an example of what Trump has termed as being freedom cities. He's openly talked about it. Peter Thiel has openly talked about it. Mark Andreessen has talked about it. These are the cities that they want to establish that allow no regulation by the American government of AI or technology. They don't allow the Department of Energy to interfere in these cities. They don't allow the FDA to interfere in these cities. And this is what they want for the future of America. And what I, in a very depressingly sad way, actually believe is going to happen to America if people don't wake up and start pushing back against this techno oligarchy. So this video, I believe it's by More Perfect Union, called Tech Billionaires Shocking Plot for Rural America.
They purchased this land here as well as on the other side, which is a bit scary. All of this.
Sorry,
people know what we will be giving up, but what will we get in return is the larger question, and no one really knows that with certainty.
Solano County, California sits just north of the Bay Area and south of Sacramento. And for the past 8 years, its largely middle and working class communities have been facing what many locals consider a hostile takeover.
They've destroyed families. They don't care. They do not care about us, no matter what they say.
You can't make this shit up. I have never seen anything like this.
See, and that's what I'm saying. When I say to you guys I'm writing this book, and then I say to you guys real good science fiction is just writing about what's going on right now, is like what she just said. You can't make this shit up. That's why people, when they hear me talk about this shit, are like, oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist. This, it's not real. Isn't this conspiracy theory? This is not a conspiracy theory. This is actually what these people are doing, and they've written books about it. They've given speeches on it. They give interviews about it. They do not hide the fact that this is what they want to do with America. And they are the richest people in the country, and some of them are the richest people in the world. So they have the resources to carry it out. And through Donald Trump, they have the conduit to make it happen.
We visited Solano County in June to learn more about a battle between a local community and a secretive group intent on creating its own society. The story began in 2017.
A farmer from out in the area called me and said, hey, somebody's buying land out here. And I thought, okay. He goes, but it's a lot of land. So I went down.
Yeah, and the trippy part about that is that I was reading news articles during this time about a secretive billionaires club of people that were buying up land in California. And at that time, I didn't know anything about any of these things. And so I was kind of like, who cares? So what are they going to do? They're going to build housing units. I didn't understand exactly what this meant. I didn't understand how the housing regulations and the city regulations would work for this forever city that they were calling it. I thought it was just a bunch of tech billionaires that wanted to build a private community for them, just like Silicon Valley.
And to the county and looked at the property records.
Yeah, Kelly,
and I could see the name Flannery LLC, and that they had bought up at that time more than 20,000 acres.
Albert Medvitz and his wife, Jeannie, moved back to Solano County in 1987 to run her family's farm, one of the many dryland farms in the region.
This dude looks like the type of dude that's like, nah, you ain't buying my shit.
2019, we ourselves got a letter offering to buy our ranch at inflated prices. We made it clear there's no way we're going to sell this ranch. And they simply could not seem to comprehend why people would turn down money for something and maybe more value than money could buy.
Yeah, because there are people that are used to not hearing the answer no. And that's, like I said, one of the scariest things about these people doing this.
They decided to sue the ones who would not sell to them.
They came in the dark of night, kind of. They did this stuff secretly. You know, they've just ticked off a whole lot of the community. And then they have the gall to sue farmers that don't want to sell.
Yeah, and when he says they did it secretly, he means that. Like, they didn't have to disclose, because I think it was through like a LLC or a group. I don't completely understand how you're able to do this, but they didn't have to disclose who was buying the land. It was like a business was buying the land that had like no attachments to anything. You couldn't find what it was. And I believe that's where the term California Forever comes from, because I believe the group was California Forever.
It's just like, what are you thinking?
Flannery also sued dozens of other family farmers who held out after discussing the value of their land amongst each other, accusing them of collusion and antitrust violations.
Of course they talked. Farmers do that. People do that. They want badly. One's right near the water, and that person is not giving it up. So these
and why do they want them near the water? Why do they want them near the water? Because they want to put down nuclear facilities. And this is the thing. I'm a pro-nuclear person, right? And I don't think that if you don't understand about AI takes a insane amount of energy. So you can't produce enough electricity for AI facilities without nuclear. So I'm not anti-nuclear, but I am anti-cities putting in nuclear with no regulations, with no oversight from the government, and doing it right next to the water, which is where they want it. So this is, once again, when I talk about these things, I continue to say this. It is not a singular problem. It's a multi-part problem. It isn't just that these cities would exist with their own regulations in the way of like what they can or can't do with the people that live there, or the laws they have, or how they disenfranchise people by getting them to buy property and then kicking them out if they don't stick to the terms of service. It's also about the potential of them poisoning the water supply. It's also about the potential of them destroying the land. There's so many more things to this that, once again, a lot of these like Trump supporter type of people don't think of. They think, so what? They got money, which is fucking weird, because literally like a year and a half ago, they were telling me about how BlackRock was bad. But anyways, they can't think past their nose. They only see what's directly in front of their face, and they can't think about the myriad amount of problems that would come with these unregulated cities owned by these billionaires that can pay off people, especially, like they thought they could with these ranchers. They think, oh, well, there's this middle class or upper middle class mayor or, council person. And if I just offer them hundreds of thousands of dollars, they'll let me do whatever I want. And $100,000 to me is nothing, but to that person, it's life-changing money. So if you have a brain, if you have a functioning frontal lobe, you should be able to figure out that this isn't just something where it's bad because they're buying up land that other people could own. It's bad for a lot of fucking reasons.
Farmers, what's happened is they are going broke trying to fight back against these billionaire boys.
Yep. And that's the game, right? So the game is, somebody asked me once, I think it was even my stepbrother, asked me why in the Katie Johnson case against Trump and Epstein, the files that were released in Florida that Katie Johnson took Trump and Epstein to court civilly to attempt to hold them accountable years after her being allegedly raped by them. And he said, well, why would you drop the case if that happened to you. A lot of what happens in lawsuits is paperwork warfare, right? People like Trump, people like Epstein, people like these billionaires know how to continue to put forth these lawsuits that keep you filing against them. So one of the problems with like defamation, right? So somebody can bring a defamation case against you, and it can be completely frivolous, and you know that it'll be thrown out. But you still have to take time out of your day to go to the court. You still have to file your point of view. You still have to prove that what they're doing is frivolous and before it can be thrown out. So people can do this. People with lots of money can pay lawyers to drown everyday people in paperwork and lawsuits to the point that you just give up and sell your land. So once again, this is something that people don't get. They go, well, why wouldn't they, if it's wrong, why wouldn't they just get lawyers and fight it? Because it's not always possible to do that. You might be able to do it for the first little bit, but all of these people, whether it's Trump or it's Epstein or it's Mark Andreessen or Peter Thiel or Elon Musk, every one of them have unlimited resources, and you have very finite resources that affect not just you, but your family and your friends as well. So it's just one of those things that, once again, like, people don't understand how complicated all of this actually is. They think everything can be reduced down into, well, why didn't they just do that?
It's just been agonizing. There were so many people who were wounded by this.
The buyers maintained a veil of secrecy around their identity until August 2023. That's when the New York Times broke the news that Flannery, which eventually spent $900 million buying up 66,000 acres of land, is the front group for a company called California Forever.
See?
And California Forever, backed by billionaires such as Reid Hoffman, Laurene Powell Jobs, and Mark Andreessen, wants to build a privately run city in the middle of the county's protected farmland with far less regulation.
The new city would be located north of Highway 12 between Travis Air Force Base and Rio Vista.
The group wants to build a green community that it claims will include thousands of affordable homes, shopping, dining, and walkable neighborhoods.
So they're saying they want to be good neighbors with people in Solano County, and at the same time they're suing their own literal fence-by-fence neighbors.
Investors.
Yeah, so they're suing them to make them so, because they're claiming that they're price fixing by talking to each other about these billionaires trying to. So once again, this is a loophole, right? So these farmers get together and they say to each other, hey, I got, an offer from this California Forever group. I don't want to sell to them. They're offering me pretty good money, but I don't think I'm going to sell. And then other farmers are saying, yeah, they're also offering me money. How much money are they offering you? And that is enough for them to be able to bring lawsuits against these farmers to claim that they're price fixing, that they do want to sell the properties, but they're price fixing against the fucking conehead, Mark Andreessen. God, his head is so weird. Something happened during birth with that guy. It's the eyebrows and the conehead, dude. It's fucking mesmerizing. Anyways. Made me lose my train of thought seeing that fucking egghead.
Investors in California Forever have been largely mum on the project and strategy.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, now I remember. God, I got the egghead just fucking completely lost track. So once again, because they know these people are so goddamn aggressively gullible, what they're doing to these people is they're going, hey man, why are you mad? We're gonna create a green city. That's perfect. You're liberals. You want a green city, right? It's going to be like, there's not going to need for cars. You're going to be able to walk everywhere. It's going to be great. But anytime somebody is selling you something that sounds too good to be true, then it's probably too good to be true. And think about it this way. If you know anything about cults, when you own a home on the property that the cult owns, you don't own the home. If you want to leave the cult, you have to leave the home that you purchased on the property that they own. Therefore, it's their house now. I know this because I know people that lost their home to cults. You have to realize that these billionaires that are making these cities aren't doing it for the greater good of your community. They might have some otherworldly expectations of, leaving behind the mark on history that they did something great for humanity, and they're the first people to set down, roots and create this Jetson-type city. I'll be good faith enough to say that that's a possibility. But The reality is probably more like these people want to be able to experiment on people, and they want to work without regulations, and they want to put neural links in people's heads, and they want to be able to use AI to generate whatever the fuck they want without any oversight, and they want to be able to put nuclear facilities down to run their AI facilities without any type of government red tape that would make this take too long because they're old as fuck and they're afraid of dying with all this money and not getting to use it to do the weird shit that they want to do. That's probably closer to reality.
The public face of California Forever is its CEO, a former Goldman Sachs whiz kid named Jan Schwamek. He grew up in Eastern Europe, was a young prodigy in London, and founded a failed Twitter-like app.
Of course he did.
Here he is talking about the lawsuits at a tech conference.
It was a hard decision, but we have laws on the books that protect against that kind of conduct. And we'll leave it to the courts to figure it out.
What is the law that says if you want my property and I don't want to sell it to you, you drag me to court?
There's no law like that. What we have a law against is the law that says if the 6 gas companies, the gas stations in town get together and say that they're gonna charge $50 for gas, then there's price fixing laws against that.
Schwamek has
but that's like that's he's working his way around, right? He's doing mental gymnastics here. He's trying to convince you that these people do want to sell their land, but they're trying to make it so that way they get the most money from these people. Let me just say this right off. There is no price too high for these people. I guarantee it. There's no way that these farmers were asking for such astronomical amounts for their property that these billionaires couldn't get together and just buy them outright and just tell them to fuck off. No. They're using a loophole. They're claiming that that's what they wanted to do. But the reality is these farmers never wanted to sell that. So once again, this is how they get you to turn on your own. This is how you get middle-class people to fight with middle-class people, is you get these fucking morons that would come through here and go, well, price fixing is bad. They shouldn't be getting together and doing that. No. There is no price too high for these people. They would have paid whatever the fuck it would have cost for these pieces of land. It's the fact that these ranchers don't want to sell at all, and they're using a loophole to take them to court to try to sue them and run them out of money and exhaust them to the point that they will just sell this property to them.
Has also been confronted by residents.
Yeah,
I
and that's
cannot
what you
tell
get.
you how much
That's what you
hatred
get.
I have for these people. Just hatred. Schwamek was crude and did not understand that he would have had a much better reception if he
because he's a moron and he has no idea what it's like to talk to people.
had talked to people.
Schwamek self-published a book in 2009 titled Racing Towards Excellence, which summed up his personal outlook with a misquote attributed to Ayn Rand. Quote, "The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me." The stakes are sky high, both locally and for the nation.
Like I said,
if
they
the
write
project
this shit
goes
in
through,
books.
a precedent will be set with billionaires able to buy their way through community resistance and create their own.
Hold on, I just figured out why this is such a fucking insanely good idea. They put it in books, guys. They put all their ideas in books. They knew none of these fucking Trump supporters were going to read the books. It's fucking genius. Holy shit, guys. It's fucking genius, guys.
I love the poorly educated.
I just realized they put the information that could save these people in books because they knew there was no fucking way that these people would ever read something. That is fucking genius.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
That is genius level. You got to give them credit for that one, guys. You got to give it credit for that one.
Privately held societies. And if that sounds exaggerated, it's already in progress elsewhere.
Legacy systems of governance keep individuals from reaching their full potential.
Andreessen, one of California Forever's billionaire tech investors, is also an investor in a company called Pronomos, which is trying to build its own radical tech cities around the world. In Honduras, Promonos purchased land unbeknownst to locals in order to build Prospera, a libertarian, Bitcoin-powered city. And now that the country wants them out, the company is suing to establish autonomy.
Prospera has had a very negative impact on our community. The mental stress that we are under, we don't know when our home will be taken from us.
Prospera is being very slowly built along the ocean in an area with some existing infrastructure.
Once again, it's right next to the water because they want nuclear facilities. Every one of these people want to have their own personal nuclear. That's so fucking scary, dude. Unregulated nuclear. Like, I am a complete proponent of nuclear power. I am not a proponent of nuclear power that is unregulated. That's fucking insane.
Structure. California Forever brings the idea to the US with just as much mystery and libertarian zeal.
I first met young.
You know, another thing too, and we should probably watch this video on Starbase, the town in Boca Chica, or town of Boca Chica that Elon Musk just voted, his people just voted to turn into a Starbase city. They just sent emails to all these people saying, if your business exists within certain areas in the city now, it can no longer operate as the business that it was before. So they're zoning out these people, right? Imagine being a mom and pop store, a small business in one of these places, say in Honduras or something like that. And you have a store and they're trying to put a nuclear facility next to it. Or they're blowing up fucking rockets. That's currently what's going on in Boca Chica, where you're hearing, you know, once every 2 months, a gigantic explosion in your home where you live from a rocket blowing up. You don't know where that, you know, those pieces are going to land. You don't know what they shut down the beach in Boca Chica so that way people can't use it because they want to be able to blow up the rockets there. Like, once again, this is a problem that can't be reduced down to one thing. There's so much that could go wrong with these cities that people are not paying attention to. And somebody like Elon waves a $5,000 Doge check in front of their face, and they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't mind if billionaires do whatever they want to my beehive. That's acceptable. It's $5,000. $5,000 is $5,000, brother. Okay? Like, end of the day, they can do whatever they want to me. It's not gay if it's for $5,000.
He came to City Hall and met with me, and I had my city manager there as well. And the one thing that's always stuck out with me in that discussion was we asked him, what kind of governance are you talking about if you're making a city? And he said, we're going to do something completely different.
What up, go?
It won't be what you're used to. And we asked him to go a little further, and he did not. But it wasn't going to be like a city council kind of thing.
I think the biggest disadvantage will be to the individuals in the new community because you don't have an elected official to hold accountable. You don't have anyone that you can directly communicate your concerns to.
This is a key promise of the so-called network state movement, a tech separatist effort to create private, self-governed utopias. Schwamek has claimed he isn't interested in the movement, but several of California Forever's top investors are involved, and its creator called the would-be city a prime example of his idea.
The network state is about the book, is about the...
So, like I said, they've written books about this. The network state. Read the books. It's not conspiracy theories when people are legit writing in books what they want to do, and then they are carrying it out right in fucking front of you. This isn't some fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia fucking pointing going on. These people have given speeches. They have written books. Like, just fucking pay attention for 5 fucking minutes and then put 2 and 2 together and recognize that they've been telling you all along what they think the future of humanity, not just America, but the future of humanity is, and they think they should be in charge of it.
Bare land version of it, right? Which is already being tried. You're seeing it in Northern California.
Donald Trump, supported by Andreessen and other Silicon Valley libertarians, has a similar plan.
But he calls them freedom cities.
Yep. No, you can't serve two masters, is my opinion.
So one will always suffer. Either you'll answer to the people that you're serving or your investors, but you really can't do both.
Schwammek has talked repeatedly about removing regulations around building, which is key to the network state's self-government plan and a dream for developers.
And when I look at all of these plans or places that I visited, I often wonder, was the original vision somehow more radical? And then it got watered down because the fire department said something. And
oh, that pesky fire department. Ah, the pesky fire department. These housing regulations are keeping us from being able to do things, you know, like build buildings that catch on fire easily, or, you know, have them clustered so fucking close together that if a fire breaks down, it burns down the whole city and murders everybody in it. Ah, the pesky fire department.
the city has said something.
I don't believe that this is just going to be a development. I think this is going to be an experiment about forms of governance.
Yep.
And when you have somebody like Mark Andreessen writing the Techno-Optimist Manifesto, claiming that words like sustainability are a curse on society, I think that's extremely exaggerated.
When we spoke with someone,
and the reason that they hate sustainability is because they want to be able to do things to the environment, and they don't want you worried about climate change. They don't want you worried about your drinking water. Remember we watched that video not too long ago where the liberal son asked the conservative father, do you think that the government should have to provide clean water? What was his answer? He said no, without hesitation. These people, they're done. They are pot committed to believing whatever the fuck these billionaires tell Donald Trump to say. All Donald Trump is he's a mouthpiece. Look, Donald Trump is a pay-for-play president. You stick money in his pocket, and then he says the things that you want him to say. That's why some of the things that come out of his mouth sound super hypocritical to the things that he said maybe a year or two ago. Definitely what he said, 6 or 8 years ago. The reason is because if you put money in the slot, the voice just says whatever you want it to.
Solano County locals and officials, they voiced some similar concerns about the proposed city, its size, and how it impact the generations of residents.
My fear is that building a development like this, where it could be up to 400,000 people in a county of 450,000 people, it's not being built for the people of Solano County.
And we have to deal with the consequences. We have to deal with the congestion on Highway 12. We have to deal with the increase in taxes that could possibly happen or occur.
And that's intentional, by the way, because they want to push the people that live there out. They don't want them there because if they live there, then they have to deal with any type of regulations and stuff that potentially get imposed on those people.
We have to deal with, if we're in a drought year, how is water going to be re-rationed?
There was uncertainty about promises made to working class residents.
They're flat out lying to people about what it is.
And worry about California Forever's impact on the environment and economy, which was validated when the Solano County Board of Supervisors released an economic impact study. The report was prepared ahead of a November ballot initiative.
And by the way, this is generally the main reason that they get these counties to agree to them putting these cities in. So when Elon Musk wanted to make Starbase his own city, the way he did it was he bought the council pretty much, right? So he got a bunch of people to run that were pro SpaceX people, and then he had the majority of people that were living there working for SpaceX. So obviously you're not going to vote against Elon Musk or you're going to lose your job. So they claimed that the city of Boca Chica was going to become, this much better because of the industry that Elon Musk is bringing to it. He's going to bring all these new jobs. He's going to bring all this money. Economically, it's going to be great. So this is what they sell everybody on. Once again, you just blind these dipshits with dollars and they're good to go. You can't see past like a $50 bill.
To change zoning laws to allow the city's construction to begin. Polling already showed mass opposition to the plan. Then this happened.
California Forever announcing today its East Solano plan will no longer be on the ballot in November.
Now the company is promising to make adjustments and try again in
And that's probably because they couldn't buy the council.
2026. But the issues they face...
So next year they're going to try again.
Run deeper than deficits. Many of them are a matter of just misunderstanding.
Yeah, Manny, we were just talking about Prospera. Yeah, we were just talking about Prospera in Honduras.
Standing the region. Here's what Jan Schwamek told billionaire investor, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman about the county's farmland.
We've been able to purchase this property because it is some of the worst soil for agriculture within 100 miles.
Locals vehemently disagree, pointing to the $1.3 billion in revenue that farms and related businesses produced in 2023.
They have taken over a lot of land that has been dry farmed and has brought protein to the country and the world for 3 and 4 generations.
And in this era of climate change, when water is becoming scarcer across the country and across the world to use for crops, to be able here to set an example of how we can produce significant food, important food, without relying on water, it's hugely important.
The orderly growth.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, the reasons that beef prices continue to rise, and they will continue to rise, they won't stop rising. So there's inadequate cattle supply because there's inadequate pasture. And because of climate change, because things continue to get hotter in places that used to have really green pasture and stuff like that, it's no longer available. So the more people that are born, because regardless of what you hear from Elon Musk, the world population is not declining. The world population is set to plateau, they believe, around 10 billion people. So Western population has a population decline because Western population has a problem with having an economic situation that is viable for having traditional families. Like nobody wants to have children right now because nobody wants to bring children into a world where potentially the president of the United States is going to burn down the country, therefore leaving the future generations with absolutely nothing to fucking live for. The problem is that the more people that are born in the world, the more people there are to consume products. If there are more people to consume products, but the products are becoming less because the ability to produce those products is getting harder, then you are going to see skyrocketing demand and diminishing supply, which leads to higher prices, and that's not going to stop. That's a problem that, once again, we're all sitting around acting like these things don't exist. We're all acting like the green blight on citrus doesn't exist. We're acting like the black rot on cocoa doesn't exist. If you don't believe me, look up the price of cocoa right now. Look at how high the price of cocoa has gone in the past 4 or 5 years. If we all sit around and act like the fact that the banana blights don't exist. We're acting like climate change doesn't exist. And that's a part of what this administration is doing by stopping the reporting. So I was just reading a report on avian flu this morning, right? So avian flu, I believe there's been 76 cases in the country reported, and 38 of them, I think, came from California. A person that studies the avian flu asked the question, is the avian flu going away right now? Is it being mitigated by the things we have done, or is it being underreported? And the article I read, and what I believe, is that it is being underreported. There was recently that weatherman that said that about the hurricanes, that he can't tell you where the hurricanes are going because the government has defunded the NOAA. Or not completely defunded it, but defunded it partially. I think that this administration and the people in control of it do not want people to know what's going on because it upsets people, and upset people ask for change. If people ask for change and the people in charge don't make that change, then oftentimes people will vote those people out. Right now we are sitting around looking at statistics, at facts, at studies that say bad shit is happening and it is just getting worse. And they just wave a $5,000 check in front of your face and you shut the fuck up. That's not a good thing.
Initiative has governed land use and planning in Solano County for 40 years, keeping cities growing without impacting farmland. Voters would have to approve changes to the law for the city to be built on protected farmland. Ironic because the ordinance was first enacted in 1984 to prevent an investor from San Francisco from establishing a new city on the farmland.
Everything that's green is protected by the Orderly Growth Initiative. Okay, so Flannery's looking at this big green chunk down here. Here's Rio Vista, there's Travis Air Force Base. So everything in gold is the land that Flannery bought. And you can see it's virtually that entire corner of the county.
As one of the 10 core guarantees made to Solano County residents, California Forever promised to create good-paying jobs in places where people live. Many of the companies that Schwamek announced as potential employers in East Solano are tech startups that share investors with California Forever's billionaire funders. Instead of waiting for a brand new city, officials say they would welcome them to their towns now.
We have a whole city block that I offered to him to go ahead and develop.
Yep, but this is what Peter Thiel said. Peter Thiel literally said this. Peter Thiel said, we don't always want to, we don't want to buy land that exists, right? So there was this guy, I forgot his name, but he's another one of these tech bros that wanted to create these floating cities in international waters, and Peter Thiel bankrolled him to do that. And that, I believe, fell through, and I think that guy's doing something different now. But in a speech, Peter Thiel said, he said, we could do these things by buying land in places where people live, but we might not want the people that live there. So we don't want places that are already occupied because the people that live there might not be the type of people we want to be there. So the reason that they don't want this city, when they offer them, hey, you can come in and put your tech companies down here, we would greatly appreciate the job opportunities. They don't want to do that because they want to be in complete control of who lives there and what the type of person is that lives there.
What you're looking at, and let's see it.
It's a bit
Is it Eric Prince? It might have been
disrespectful
Manny.
to withhold opportunity.
It doesn't sound like the
because
right
it's tied
guy,
to you directly. It's almost like a bait and switch or dangling a carrot before a person.
Here's what I've said about those companies that they've said might want to come out there. Come here now.
Affordable housing is another one of
That
the 10
puts the light in the
guarantees
words.
that California Forever offered the community as part of its sales pitch. They claim Solano County isn't building enough housing.
If you think that we aren't building enough houses,
Here, let's look it up real quick. I gotta go soon, but let's do this real quick. Patrick Friedman, who co-founded the Seasteading Institute in 2008. I wonder, he's not related to that other Friedman guy, right? Former Google employee Friedman is considered the co-founder of the Seasteading Institute and co-authored a book on seasteading with a colleague. His work in the Seasteading Institute's mission explored the idea of building floating cities, potentially as a way to create a new society with its own laws and culture. And yeah, Peter Thiel, is he related to Sam Bankman-Friedman? I wonder if that's true. Sam Bankman-Fried. No, so he wouldn't be. Different name. I didn't know. I thought it was Friedman. Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay. So that's who it is. It's Patry Friedman. Patry Friedman?
go down and look at our general plan and then come back and talk to us. It's
like I
thousands
said, this isn't conspiracy theory. It literally
exists.
We took a tour of locations where housing is being built right nearby.
Exactly, Mom.
There were huge new developments in an area already zoned for housing and small neighborhoods right off main streets.
As you can tell, we're really active here in development. Price is really affordable for Bay Area standards, which is really cool. But the difference is these gentlemen can probably afford to live in these houses that we're building, which I take great pride in that. You know, I'm working class. My family is working class.
California Forever's apartments will start at $400,000 in today's dollars.
Jeez.
Years from now, when the city would open, that's likely to be well over $500,000.
Who that affordable housing gonna be for? It's not for me and my people. They did this same thing in Silicon Valley.
They don't want your
promised them
people.
all these houses and all this. Well, look at them now, unhoused. They gonna do the same thing to us.
California Forever now plans to get a development agreement in place before a vote by residents in 2020.
Oh, Cheyenne, the grandson of Milton Friedman. They're all connected, man. It does not stop. Wealth breeds wealth, and wealth breeds villains.
26, which could address their many concerns. The
Yep,
company plans
Cheyenne.
to work with
Good
the board
job.
of supervisors on the project,
Good job, Cheyenne.
which has people worried. It's very unlikely to win over some of the current supervisors.
As far as I'm concerned, I will never trust anything that they bring forward on anything. You broke the public trust. You operated in bad faith. You went after our farmers.
Not for an
The
apartment.
concern is that they may work to remake the board.
As long as they're here, they're gonna work really hard to take over our politics. They haven't done that step yet, but they're getting close. That's what the 49ers did in Santa Clara.
Yeah. Oh, he's talking about the 49ers when they wanted to build a stadium in Santa Clara. Yeah, and like I said, Elon Musk did this in Boca Chica. So, like I said, you don't need to believe me. You can go and look at the example of what Musk is doing with Starbase and see what they're all trying to accomplish.
Clara. I mean, they basically bought city council seats, and to get the deal they want.
The CEO of the San Francisco 49ers has spent a record $3 million on supporting 4 candidates running for a seat on Santa Clara's city council.
They will do everything they can to
See
get
that?
infrastructure money into their project to cut down their cost.
The secrecy was so resented, not even $7 million in marketing could overcome it. For months, California Forever tried everything. They blanketed the highways and airwaves with ads. They promised a big sports complex and a man-made lagoon and handed out cash to small businesses and nonprofits.
A lot of the
And I tell you, just wave the check in front of people's faces. Dude, just wave the check. That's what they believe about people. And they're not all wrong. Just wave a check in front of people's faces and the morals disappear. That's how desperate, that's how hopeless that the middle class has gotten. That it's like you can just wave a check in front of their face and they believe you'll just give right into it. You'll just give them whatever they want.
people like the garden that I work for, or just other people that I know in the community, they're saying they had to take the money because, of course, we're starving out there.
When the nonprofit did not agree with the terms of receiving it, it was taken back from them. And that's a nonprofit.
When California Forever decided to pull the ballot initiative, a coalition called Solano Together declared victory. Now locals must spend the next 2 years staying vigilant.
This is going to be studied in history. Everything that's happening now, this is setting a precedent for, you know, the future trajectory of what our society looks like.
I have never seen true, real grassroots
No,
fight
it wasn't
like this.
Eddie.
I mean,
What's
it's across
the
the
owner of
board.
the Niners
Republicans, Democrats, does not matter,
Goddamn, I
liberal,
can't remember his
conservative. Never cared about politics in my life, but I care about farming, or I care about Travis. They're up against people who care, and that means a lot. We hope it means more than their billions.
And that's what I keep saying to you guys. That's what I keep saying is that, like, it does matter what you do. Like, it's very easy to get, you know, hopeless. It's very easy to become apathetic, to get exhausted in this atmosphere. And that's exactly what people want. They want you to be apathetic. They want you to be exhausted. But there are tons of examples of people saying, no, we're not going to do that, and being able to stand up against these people. So we got to just keep doing that. And that's why you're here, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So, yeah. Scatty Hotchel tried to disseminate shit about a soccer stadium here in New York upstate, where my other house is, and they raised taxes, of course. Of course. Waiting for the tax breaks. Yep, Manny. Waiting for the taxes. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's crazy, man. I just don't understand. Like, people are willing to just sell out for anything. And that's because the game's rigged, right? You almost can't blame the people that get, so excited for the money. Because even though I think they should be smarter, I actually also understand why it's like, why they would sell out. It's because you've been given so little hope for the future. You've been beaten down for so long. You're exhausted. You're tired. Then somebody comes along and says, how about we just give you some money? And you just go the fuck away. And you're like, that's actually better than what's going on right now. So I could probably do that. So, that's why I think when I first started doing this, I think a lot of people didn't really understand why I was willing to talk to like the crazy Trump supporters, right? And it was because I come from the trailer park, and I know that whole mentality is driven into you when you're young about you being worthless, about everything being against you, about you being a victim, about how, like no politician will ever help you, all of those things. And it does. It makes for a really hopeless outlook on life. And I think that, obviously if you waved a check in front of my face back then, I'd give up pretty much my entire life for fucking a couple $1,000s. Whereas now, as I've worked my way into, owning my own home, having a family, having a career, having done things, I've said this a lot of times, is that like when you find yourself in a more comfortable place in life, you find yourself better capable of thinking about other people. And that's where we really want to be in life. And that's where you become the happiest, in my opinion. As, somebody said in a meme the other day, I hope you realize that the richest man in the world buys drugs to make himself happy. And that's pretty fucking powerful, to be honest. Because it just goes to show, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You're still going to be affected just like every other human being by that lack of purpose, that lack of having something in your life that means something. So it really is about taking care of yourself and getting yourself to a place where you're in a good place with a good foundation, and then taking care of others. And I think that most people that came from nothing and got to where I am in life, I think that they recognize that, and I think that's what makes those people better people, because they do think of others and they understand how that brings happiness. So that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. All right, guys. Stanley Cup Game 1 looks like it's going to overtime. Looks like I need to go watch it. All right, guys. Thank you for everybody that stopped in tonight. I appreciate all of you. Skinny, good to see you. Very happy to see you and find out that you are still there and still doing stuff. Appreciate seeing you, man. Welcome to the Ginger Army. Thank you to everybody that joins the Angry Ginger Army. Thank you to everybody that donates to the stream and keeps this shit going. I appreciate you guys a ton. Next live stream is going to be Wednesday it's Wednesday today. Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Don't forget to go check out This Space, which is the channel that for the content creators, that they're going to have like a 24-hour stream, and I will be on that 24-hour stream I think it's going to be like Thursday at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night I'll be on. So go check out This Space and subscribe to This Space, as it's going to be pretty cool in my opinion. We'll link it in the next show for sure. Don't forget to get outside, touch some fucking grass, stop spending all your time watching this bullshit and getting depressed, because being depressed and exhausted isn't gonna win us any battles. So get outside, touch grass, feel some sunshine on your skin. If you're a ginger, wear sunblock. And kiss your loved ones. Tell the people around you that you love them and you appreciate them, because that's important. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. So thanks, guys, as always.
Yeah, you effin' with some wet-ass P-word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass P-word. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass P-word. P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
Who explains sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment